Hi everyone, this is Catherine Bernardo.
At ako naman po si Daniel Padilla. Guys, may PayMaya na ba kayo?
Kung wala pa, dapat mag-download na kayo sa Google Play or App Store dahil ito na ang usong pangbayad ngayon.
Ang PayMaya is isang mobile payment app using only your cell phone and you can pay practically anything, kahit online transactions pa yan.
With PayMaya, hindi mo na kailangan magdala ng cash for your day-to-day expenses. Pwede kang magbayad ng bills, bumili ng prepaid load, mag-online shopping, mag-send money, magbayad gamit ng QR code at marami pang iba.
Pero ang the best part dito ay may balik-bayad ka pa.
Each time you use PayMaya, may balik sa'yo na cashback at rewards, kaya sulit ang oras mo dahil hindi mo na kailangan pumila and you can just pay using your app anytime, anywhere.
Kaya guys, huwag kakalimutan, pag may babayaran ka, don't pay cash, pay Maya.
Express your online business. Express your online business.
When you look inside a JanSport backpack, you see a story that started in 1967. And since then, our mission has expanded to helping protect our environment for future generations to enjoy. It's a work in progress, but just this season we've used the equivalent of 13 million bottles worth of recycled polyester in our most popular backpacks. When you look inside a JanSport pack, you see our commitment to this brilliant blue planet we call home. And we're just getting started.
Ready, go!
Demons shall bathe in their blood.
Healing prayers for you. I am the moonlight that breaks through the darkness. I am Karamet.
Welcome back, Anna.
Immortality!
The strongest ninja.
The universe is but a lie.
Your fate is in my hands!
New legend!
What do you do when what you desire is beyond reach?
You use power that breaks barriers. The Giga Life.
Now in 5G.
Do you believe this is possible?
I do.
How do you know?
Simple, smart, acro.
Inevitable! Hey guys, I'm here with Kate and Bea.
Bad timing ang kate. Baka dandruff yan. Use head...
Magandang
Magandang hapon mga ka-ML. Thank goodness it's Friday dahil simula na ng 3 sunod-sunod na araw na rambulan para sa Mobile Legends. Bang bang! Welcome to MPL Philippines Season 7. MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. MPL Philippines would like to thank the following sponsors. MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. Get 1 gig a day for Mobile Legends, Facebook gaming, and more. Plus, free 1 gig for 7 days. Just dial *123# or download the GigaLife app and choose free games. MPL Philippines Season 7 is also brought to you by Oppo. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. With its Helio P95 chipset, 6.43-inch Full HD AMOLED screen display, 4,310 mAh and 30 watts VOOC flash charge 4.0. Victories and ranking up will be easy. Live life at full speed with the all-new Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999 pesos. MPL Philippines Season 7 is also presented by Head & Shoulders. Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward #ItchAGG moment. Thanks to Head & Shoulders. Ngayon, mas mabango pa. 100% dandruff-free and itch-free. MPL Philippines Season 7 is also brought to you by Master. Kahit buong araw naglalaro, iwasan magmukhang GG kaya dapat fresh na fresh pa rin para fresh all day. Bring your clay game with the new Master All-in-One Clay Face Wash. Cleanses 99.9% of germs, controls oil up to 12 hours, and helps prevent pimples all in one. Bring your clay game with Master. Yan ang sikreto ng mga gwapo. And also, we'd like to thank Paymaya, Secret Lab, JNT Express, Havianas, Nike, Jansport, TikTok, and the World Wildlife Fund. Also, meron tayong Mobile Legends Adventure. It's a casual and idle game that features the same world-building elements as Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Jump into exciting encounters and clashes featuring well-loved heroes from MLBB and earn huge rewards even when you're not playing. The newest hero of MLA, Selena, is coming in a major mode update. I-unlock ang kanyang exclusive gameplay upang makuha si Selena ng libre at alamin ang kanyang kwento. Mas maraming bagong mode kabilang ang mga collectible system, labyrinth, at iba pang naghihintay para sa inyo sa kakaibang Land of Dawn. Kung dati kang adventurer sa mundo ng MLA, it's time to continue your journey. Get exclusive rewards and access special events. Huwag mag-atubiling piliin ang inyong nananais na mga heroes mula sa mga ultimate chest and get instant discounts on items. Naghanda kami ng isang espesyal na regalo para sa mga adventurer ng MLA na napanood ang live stream. Kaya gamitin lang ang CD key ng MLMLA 999 to get rewards in MLA. I-download the game and log in now. Now, MPL is also under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Boards of the Philippines. Ako po, si Mara Aquino. Ito na ang simula ng 3 sunod-sunod na araw na rambulan dito sa MPL Philippines. At kasama ko ngayon para himayin ang ating pre-show, ang ating heartthrob dito sa MPL Rock Heart, at ang ating brilliant mind na nag-analyze tuwing laro natin dito sa midnight. Second week na ng MPL. Kamusta na kayong dalawa?
Ako, excited ako sa mga matches. Ang dami nating unexpected results.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure marami pang darating. So yun yung nagpapa-excite sa akin sa mga darating na weeks. I really am hoping for more amazing matches and more unexpected results.
Yeah, last week was a predictorist nightmare. Tingin ko lahat ng nag-predict last week medyo madami doon nagkamali.
Yep.
So I'm expecting this one to be just as unpredictable, kaya tutok kayo, it's gonna be a hot one.
Alam nyo, maraming magandang naganap nung ikatatlong araw ng ating regular season. Sa mga kailangan ng recap, let's take a look at the highlights. Ngayon, meron tayong Aura versus Blacklist International. Natalo ng Blacklist ng Aura dahil sa dami ng hero pool ng Blacklist, yung mga unexpected meta picks nila, nagkaroon sila ng advantage.
Yeah, this is something na specialty talaga ng Blacklist International. They pulled something out of their own pool na hindi talaga alam ng kalaban nila, which is Aura-PH. Although, matagal nang ginagamit ng Venus tong hero to, no? Of course, may ginagalawan tayong meta. And Popol and Koopa was not really something that you would expect that can come out from this series, pero Blacklist made it work. And again, ito yung luto ng Blacklist International. Dito sila magaling, pulling a hero out of their old books and using it against these these meta-heavy heroes, and it worked for them.
Yep, it really worked. And I think that's just what happens when you have such confidence. Kahit bagong buo lang technically yung team nyo, talagang you can carry the game, especially for in-game comps. Alam naman natin sa Oh My Venus, sobrang talamak niyan na talagang you gotta do this, and if you do this, gagana yung ginagawa natin. So I think from there, it was just a great debut for this team. Compared to Aura, which is technically mas konti yung nabago sa kanila, pero ang laki nang nagbago in terms of the way they play. So I'm wondering if there's something going on internally with Aura that we're not really aware of.
Yeah, I think it's more of Aura not adjusting to Blacklist. Kasi these are old heroes eh. Popol and Koopa, Atlas. Aura's playstyle is, sabi mo nga, may internal, no? It's something that they should need to adjust. Kasi it's been a long time since I've seen a Matilda Jawhead lose in this kind of composition. You have an early game lineup that can play very, very aggressive against Blacklist International, and they decided to leash on the YSS. So yun yung crucial error talaga ng Aura-PH, no? And it's the in-depth understanding that these coaches can provide, no? Yung mga adjustments na pwede ibigay ni Dale, ni Arcadia, but then again, you are inside the game, you are supposed to adjust at your own will. And that is something that Blacklist International does really, really well with with having actually the Queen on their lineup. Kasi sinabi mo na nga kanina, sobrang commanding na player ni Venus. And ito talaga yung strengths nila over Aura. They have these certain adjustments that are being capable of pulling it out inside the game.
Yeah, surprisingly, hindi naging standout si JP. I was expecting a lot from JP coming into this game, pero something just really didn't click right in that matchup.
Yeah. And actually, yung last game nila, it was a decisive early game that came out from Aura-PH. But the nature of the lineup is that it falls up very, very hard on the late game. And Blacklist International, meron silang understanding din na, okay guys, kailangan na natin mag-farm. We have a Harit, we have a YSS. Ang hindi talaga natin expect dito si Eson, no? Hook City talaga. Binalik niya yun eh. Binalik niya yung Franco dati na, alam mo yun, ito yung talagang timpla ng Blacklist International. Ito-throwback nila kayo. Mapa 2017, mapa 2018 yan. As long as it works, di ba? Bakit hindi mo gagamitin? Bakit hindi mo ilalabas? So I think Aura-PH, they were really taken by surprise when they picked up the Franco here on the side of Blacklist. Even though outside of MPL, nakikita na natin na ginagamit ng Blacklist yan. There's no such thing as countering these types of mechanics. Kasi, sabi nga ni Manjin, 50-50 yan eh. Either mahook ka or hindi. Pag nahook ka, it really destroys your game understanding. Kasi, ang may sasagot mo lang dyan, ang solution dyan, ang tanging solution against these types of heroes is reflex time. And sadly, hindi na ituturo ng coach yan.
Yeah, reaction time, yung pag-react mo sa mga nangyayari sa loob ng laro, very difficult to answer. And again, I have to praise Coach Bonchan for having the guts to pull off these kind of maneuvers in terms of the draft in one of their first few games.
Yeah, actually dito ako bilib talaga kay Bonchan. Yung parang confidence na maglabas ng kahit anong draft, mapa-Chango, jungle yan, or mapa-Franco, wala silang pakialam. If in their mind it works, they will use it against even the top teams here in the Philippines. And that is something that a lot of the teams should look into. Kasi kapag ikaw yung kalaban ng Blacklist International, alam mo na masusurprise ka nila on the series itself.
Ang isa doon sa talagang susi doon sa paglaro ng Aura ay yung MVP nila doon, yung Bane ni Benny Cutie. Ang ganda ng kanyang team fights and scrimmages dun sa kanyang Bane.
Nung laban nila sa Blacklist, I believe he was not able to use the Bane. And tama si Maradona, alam mo na kapag kalaban mo Aura-PH, you should ban out the Bane of Benecuti. Pero Benecuti pulled off a different hero here. He used the Alice on game number 1. And ang ganda ng mga backline set. He really does know what he's supposed to do in the game. Alam niya kung ano yung trabaho niya. If his job is to snipe the backline, hindi siya magpapakita sa harap. He will use his first skill to destroy the box of the enemy and invade the enemy backlines. And nakita natin yan actually sa team fight nila sa top lane when may nahuling important hero sa harap. Alam nila na patay na. Instead of joining the fight, he went on the back. Sabi niya, okay, patay na yan, let's go for more targets. Yun yung specialty ni Benecuti.
Yeah, in fairness, hindi na din nagulat. Hindi na nakakagulat yung mga ginagawa ni Benecuti. Sa totoo lang. There
Si
you
Oh
go.
My Venus naman, ang ganda ng skill placement na kanyang Popol and Kupa actually. Ang gagaling ng mga placement ng kanyang traps. At dahil doon, nagkaroon sila ng magandang vision.
Perfect. Actually, that's what you use the traps for most of the time. Not just for the stun, pero for catching the bush. The vision is so important kasi bihira lang yung heroes na kaya gumawa ng vision dito sa Mobile Legends. And again, one of them is big time Popol and Kupa.
Yep. Actually may mga may mga nagsasabi na even outside of the Philippines, may mga nagsasabi na Popol and Kupa is not a viable tank, not a viable support because it doesn't check pushes. What they don't understand is Philippine meta use Zelina and Popol and Kupa to check bushes kasi that's the sole responsibility of the Popol and Kupa. You don't need a hero in the bush kung may traps ka naman na may lalagay. And for the guys out there, they do provide vision.
Para naman sa Blacklist International, itong si Eson, he didn't do so good on game 1, pero bumawi siya nung game 2 and 3. Yung Franco niya, grabe yung hook, parang galing Mars. On point yung pagka-hook niya doon.
Alam mo, again, ito yung mga heroes na hindi mo talaga masasagot ng game understanding. Yes, pwede natin sabihin na game understanding, alam mo nandito si Franco, alam mo kung nasan siya during the fights, yung placement niya, yung positioning niya on the entire game. But the thing is, if you get hooked, you get hooked.
Yeah,
diba? Wala ka sagot doon.
Like anything on the draft, aside from maybe Lolita, there's no answer to hook.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you get hooked, then there's like 3 people around him, or at least 2. That target's gonna go down. And I think sobrang big deal ng ginawa ni Eson dito. He's showing na wala sa age yan, di ba?
Oo.
Kahit veteran si Eson, his decision making is still on point.
Yep. And ito yung mga concepts na medyo magda-dive deep ka na. Kasi with Franco, most of the time isipin ng tao na, hindi, taga-kagat lang yan, or taga na ako ng purple buff. What Franco does in the game is, dinidisplace niya yung position nyo. No? If you are an enemy, if you are a team, nakalaban mo Franco, usually hindi mo maiisip kung ano ba yung tamang positioning mo kasi you're always thinking of the Franco. Madi-displace ka. Naturally, you'll get out of position, you'll get zoned out, and ito yung dala ng Franco. And it's something na Blacklist International, they understand very, very well.
Pagkatapos ng laban natin noong Sunday, nagkaroon tayo ng social media noise, biggest noise so far right now, yung pagkapanalo ng NXP kontra sa ating kampyon na Bren. Silipin natin ang highlights.
Now, Bren Esports, ito medyo controversial to, and I've talked about this. They really were a little weak against NXP, not in terms of mechanics. Well, a little bit of mechanics, pero more on technicalities and game understanding. Take note, there was one moment in the game, in game number 1 especially, na nahuli si Carl TZ, I think papakita din mamaya yan. Nahuli siya checking a bush na hindi pa nakiklear ng tanks niya. And it allows NXP to play very, very aggressive. For the entire game, it felt like NXP, they were the ones, pedaling the aggression button against Bren Esports. Even though, sige, nasa Bren yung gold lead, nasa kanila yung kill lead, but NXP were always the ones pushing out the spaces or ina-out position nila yung Bren. Sila yung nagtitake over ng bush, sila yung nagtitake over ng team fights, and again, Exort. Paulit-ulit natin sabihin to, Exort on Eve was just something special that Bren really didn't expect. The capability of the guy on this hero is, off the charts.
Yeah, I think isa yun sa mga hindi nababanggit masyado, and we should really highlight to the fans. 3 games yan, di ba? 3 games, Exort on the Eve. And one of the most immobile heroes that you can ever think of was kept relatively safe all throughout the whole series.
Yep, and imagine, this is something that Bren Esports are capable of playing into. They know how to fight against an Eve. But the thing is, NXP, they've secured themselves a good Eve game. Nakuha nila yung Benedetta, nakuha nila yung Basha, and nakuha nila yung YSS. Something that could have destroyed this lineup is the Alice. But Bren Esports don't really play that much Alice game. So ito yung dito papasok yung understanding din ng NXP on how to play these heroes. And again, nasabi ko kanina that NXP were always the ones pushing the aggression against Bren Esports. Nakikita nyo naman dito no, na parang lahat ng possible play ng Bren Esports may counterplay. I've highlighted Exort, always using the ultimate whenever he sees the Roger kasi ito yung trabaho niya sa game na to. Kailangan niya hulihin si KarTZ on the Roger kasi kabisado nila yun eh. Hero nila yun eh, diba? Sabi nila Roger wins games and meron silang nakahandang counter dyan. And I believe we found it, diba? Nung game number 1. Game number 2, honestly, this was the most disastrous game for Bren Esports. I would call this one a game understanding problem from the side of Bren. Kasi there were a lot of technicalities that showed up in this game na hindi mo ine-expect na magkakamali yan, Bren, but they did.
Yeah, exactly. And considering na dapat alam nila yung mga ganung bagay technically, I think Bren Esports still just caught off guard the whole series. KarTZ was not as pop-off as we usually see him. Kaya doon ako pinaka nagulat. Now, is that a result of in-game calls na talaga? Or I think the draft kind of answered it din, diba?
I think it's the lack of practice kasi. There was this one moment na hindi nakita sa highlights and hindi rin natin na-highlight last week. When Renegade contested the purple buff of KarTZ was able to use the BMI away papunta sa Cyclone Eye. And na-Cyclone Eye si KarTZ, but instead of running away, he used the Cyclone Eye to get close to Cho, then used the Blazing Duet. So parang ang sa akin lumalabas doon na okay, gusto niya labanan si Renegade.
Range advantage.
Yeah, the thing is, you're supposed to farm and you are fighting against a Cho that has a kick and you don't have a Purify. So again, game understanding, technicality problems, and ang root kasi niyan is lack of practice talaga on the side of Bren.
Which is, I think, very vocal naman yung Bren Esports with that in terms of that regard.
Yep.
We're saying that we really needed more practice and halata dito sa game.
Sobra. Ito lang eh, itong team fight na to, nung nahuli si KarTZ by Yawi, the fact na nasa tabi ka ng bush and your teammates are not checking it means that they're not thinking about it. So this is a big problem for Bren Esports that they should fix coming into their next games.
Ang MVP para sa NXP sa laban na yon, yung kanilang tank, si James on point. Yung kanyang mobility, especially yung kanyang Basha, using his Basha na control kaagad niya yung jungle area ng Bren. At na-slow down niya yung power spike ng core ng Bren. Pag-usapan natin yon.
Yeah, actually James, I believe, is one of the strongest players in NXP. Even might be the strongest.
Flawless,
alongside H2O. Kasi the nature of the hero is that it destroys boxes. And si James kasi, pag binigyan mo naman ganitong heroes, it really shows how aggressive the player is. James is a very aggressive player. If you give him a good matchup, he will destroy that matchup. And having a Baksha that, punishes the lineup of the enemy, talagang alam mo, papasukin ka ng Baksha. And that happened against Bren Esports. Hindi sila actually nakahinga dito sa Baksha na to.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot more that we haven't seen from this guy yet. I feel like mas madami pa siyang heroes that can really be shown here.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to watch James play this week as well.
Isa din doon, ang mula sa NXP si Exort, nag-eve siya all throughout at na-control niya. Actually, kumbaga sa basketball, parang na-box out niya at nahiwalay niya yung kanyang mga kalaban. How effective was he?
Exort is my personal MVP last week, not because of the 2 games that he played. Actually, he was the only Eve player that won he was the only Eve player that won Eve last week. And the thing is, Exort really at dito lalabas yung veterancy. He knows what's his role in the game. Again, nasabi ko kanina, every single time na nakikita niya si Roger, there's an ult, always binabox in yung kalaban niya. So, isipin mo ganito, kung ikaw si KarTZ and alam mo na ang papatay sa Eve, every single time na makita ka ng Eve, inuultihan ka niya.
Yep.
So that shows veterancy and experience. Alam niya kung ano yung dapat niyang trabaho sa game and lagi niyang ginagawa yun 100% of the time.
Especially on game 2, I think nag-start siya with glowing wand right away. The damage output was immeasurable. Grabe, ang hirap niyang i-counter. Not to mention, again, surprisingly, NXP drafted so well around the Eve, making sure na yung Eve na yun hindi mahihirapan in terms of positioning. And that's where he really showed.
Yan, kontrolado niya yung teamfight gamit yung kanyang ultimate na real-world manipulation. Na-manipulate niya lahat. Ngayon naman, pag-usapan natin ang mga top 5 players of the week. Meron tayong top KDA. Nangunguna dyan si KLVJ with 12.3, kasunod si Oheb Wise, Edward at Jake the Dog.
You know, KLVJ having a 12.3 KDA really tells you a lot. I believe he didn't die on game 1 and 2 against Omega. In pulling out a Ling alongside H2O, no? Pulling out a Ling on that game was really something na makikita mo yung expertise ng player. Even though the hero was nerfed, alam niya kung ano yung limits ng hero eh. He can utilize it to its maximum extent. So parang ang dating kasi sa kanya, these players no, actually pati si Jake the Dog, alam nila yung limits ng hero, especially KLBJ and Jake the Dog.
Silipin naman natin ang top 5 para sa assist. Top 5 players dito ang nangunguna. Si Few, 25 assists, grabe. Followed by Reflection with 21, Lusty with 20, Yawi with 19, and Flap TZ with 17.
I think itong listahan na to, having 3 players from Brand Esports on that assist, it only shows their game style.
Yeah.
Kahit na yung mechanics or yung practice ay kulang, yung core na, alam mo yun, yung style nila nandun pa rin, na sama-sama hanggang sa dulo. Even in their losses, they had the biggest assist, and I'm not surprised by this at all.
Susunod naman dito ang top 5 players for damage taken para sa ating week 1. Yan ang first 3 games natin. Flap TZ with 274,830. Susunod dyan si Delar, Rayota, Yawi, and Jay.
Actually, no surprise na you see 2 Onyx players here. Their playstyle really reflects that they really love playing into their supports in their jungle. Knowing that Delar and Jay do this, MPL-PH has a unique playstyle compared to other teams. And magugulat ka na mag-isa lang si Flap TZ on this list because of the fact that they play as 5, but the thing is they play Lusty in a role wherein ang trabaho niya is manghuli ng hero or to provide vision. So limited talaga yung heroes that can tank on the side of Brand Esports. So dito sa stats makikita mo na parang nagre-reflect talaga yung mga playstyle ng mga players. I would like to highlight Execration's playstyle, knowing that KLBJ is holding the top KDA spot right now with 12.3 on his name. Ang playstyle kasi ng Execution is 4 Protect 1. Brand Esports is more of pag may nakita tayong heroes, labanan natin.
Yeah.
And Onyx is pag nag-spike na yung jungle natin, then we fight. We fight as 3, we fight as 4. Similar to Bren, but they're more of a group of team compared to Bren.
Well, if we're talking about playstyles, I think I have to highlight what NXP did. Sobrang laki ng difference nila from Season 6 where yun nga yun laban kung laban. This time around, nagulat ako habang nagkakasta ko nun, nakita ko, wait, they're backing off? Ang daming times na, wow, umatras sila, they're waiting for a perfect opportunity, which is a big contrast to what they did before, na chaos kung chaos, laban kung laban.
Yeah.
Marami silang magandang ginawa sa ating first week. Nagkaroon tayo ng 3 game days. Kaya tignan natin ang ating current team standings ngayon. Nexplay Esports ang leader ngayon sa Group B with 4 points. PH naman na nangunguna para sa Group A with 3 points. At 3 points na ng Execration pagkatapos nilang talunin ang Omega. And Brand Esports, surprisingly, nasa baba ng ating standings followed by Omega. At yung Signal, next week pa sila maglalaro, kaya hindi pa natin sila nakikita dyan.
Yep, alam mo, nakakatakot dito, yung dalawang, yung dalawang world contenders natin. Yes, nasa lower part sila ng bracket. Yes, fine, Group A, you have Signal there. But remember, Signal hasn't played a game yet. And Brand Esports, you already lost 2 series. So, ito yung masasabi mo talaga na they need to step up. These 2 besties, no? Sabi nga nila sa social media, mag-besties sila ngayon And they really need a lot. They're playing catch-up right now. And you have teams like NXP, Execration, Aura, Onyx. They're leading the pack. And these four teams are not the 4 teams that you would expect to come up as the top 4.
Absolutely.
At reminder lang sa lahat, the top 4 in each group, sila yung makikita natin sa ating playoffs. At point system ang ranking natin dito. So kapag nanalo kayo ng 2-0, 3 points ang makukuha ng ating koponan. Pag naging 2-1 yan, magkakaroon sila ng 2 points. At kapag natalo sila ng 1-2, 1 point ang makukuha nila. Kaya nangunguna ngayon sa atin standings ang NXP. May mga surprises ba kayo dito? Kasi alam ko, NXP, ang daming surprise na sila yung una ngayon. Everybody thought it was gonna be Bren, but pinatunayan nila that they deserve to be here and mas handa sila. Ito ang ating matchup for today. Execration looking to build on their statement win over Omega last week facing Blacklist sa ating first series today, followed by the clash between Nexplay Esports kontra sa runner-ups last year na Omega Esports. Interesting ang ating first matchup, lalo na ang ating second, because itong NXP gusto nilang patunayan na hindi lang isa sa nagpunta dun sa world ang kaya nilang talunin. Gusto nilang patunayan that, syempre they made a lot of noise on social media. But out of the 2 serye dito ngayon, what are you expecting to see?
I'm more interested with the game of Execration versus Blacklist. Number 1, I want to see Execration be consistent with this form kasi again, time and time again, paulit-ulit natin sinasabi na ito yung best form ng Execration. And this season, it is still true. And I want to see it against Blacklist. Blacklist naman on their side, I want to see if what they got on the result that they got on Aura PH was the result that we actually expected. Kasi Aura PH for me, they blew that series away, and it's not because of their intention, but their lack of understanding. Game 2 should have been them. So I want to see Blacklist prove them wrong na tama yung resulta ng Blacklist versus Aura PH.
Ngayon, nung nakaraang linggo, 87,000 ng ating mga ka-ML ang sumali sa ating mythical raffle draw. At ngayon, pwede kayong sumali muli kapag in-scan yung QR code at mapupunta kayo sa ating mga set of questions. Pwede nyo subukan ang inyong knowledge sa MPL Philippines, sa Mobile Legends. Marami kami mga katanungan doon at kapag kayo ay 10 napili, pwede kayong manalo ng mga in-game prizes. Kaya ano pang hinihintay nyo? I-scan nyo na yung QR code nyo at sagutin ang aming mga katanungan. You will enjoy all the prizes that we have. Meron din kaming a lucky number draw. Maswerte ba kayo? Tignan nyo ang last 2 digits ng inyong Mobile Legends ID. I-scan lamang yan. If the last 2 digits, mas marami ngayong linggo. If the last 2 digits ng ID nyo ending with 07, 22, 32, 54, 59, 77, 87, 89, or 95. Parang lottery lang Kung last 2 digits nyo, ganyan na ganyan, tugma doon sa pinakita natin sa ating screen, hurry up! I-scan nyo ang QR code para magkaroon kayo ng Elite Skin, ng Epic Skin, at mga Diamantes para makapag-register kayo sa Starlight or kung ano-ano man ang gusto nyo. So good luck sa inyo at marami pa kaming pag-uusapan ngayong ika-4 na araw para sa ating regular season. When we get back, you're watching MPL Philippines Season 7.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life. Simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one path. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako. Moment na sana, pero hassle ang kati. Yung kati na yan, dahil sa dandruff yan. You need Head & Shoulders. Unlike beauty shampoos, tanggal ang dandruff that causes kati. No more hassle sa moment. Goodbye na sa kati dahil 100% dandruff-free ka.
Sikreto ng mga gwapong Master Gamer? Para fresh all day, bring your clay game with Master. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Fights germs, controls oil up to 12 hours, and helps prevent pimples. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Sikreto ng mga gwapo.
Hi everyone! This is Catherine Bernardo.
At ako naman po si Daniel Padilla. Guys, may PayMaya na ba kayo?
Kung wala pa, dapat mag-download na kayo sa Google Play or App Store dahil ito na ang usong pangbayad ngayon.
Ang PayMaya is isang mobile payment app using only your cell phone, and you can pay practically anything, kahit online transactions pa yan.
With PayMaya, hindi mo na kailangan magdala ng cash for your day-to-day expenses. Pwede kang magbayad ng bills, bumili ng prepaid load, mag-online shopping, mag-send money, magbayad gamit ng QR code, at marami pang iba.
Pero ang the best part dito ay may balik-bayad ka pa.
Each time you use PayMaya, may balik sa'yo na cashback at rewards, kaya sulit ng oras mo dahil hindi mo na kailangan pumila, and you can just pay using your app anytime, anywhere.
Kaya guys, huwag kakalimutan, pag may babayaran ka, don't pay cash,
Pay Maya.
Another action-packed doubleheader coming your way. This is MPL Philippines Season 7. MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Break through your own limits. Rise above and be free to game great with free games for all. Get 1 gig a day for Mobile Legends, Facebook Gaming, and more. Plus free 1 gig a day for 7 days. Just dial *123# or download the GigaLife app and choose free games. And everyone, we would like to invite you all to participate in this year's celebration of Earth Hour, happening on March 27th, 8:30 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. Earth Hour is the largest grassroots movement for the environment, with millions of people across the globe coming together each year in the name of protecting our planet, our shared home. The catastrophic events of 2020 have made it clear that we're all connected. What we do with our planet, we do to ourselves. And that is why, for this year's Earth Hour celebration, the Worldwide Fund for Nature, or WWF, will virtually bring together millions of people, businesses, and leaders from all around the world to shine a spotlight on the urgent needs to address the nature loss and climate change. Ang unang serye natin ngayong Biyernes, Execration kontra sa Blacklist International. Execration galing sa pagkapanalo nasa top half ng ating standings. Kaya kilalanin na natin ang mga mananalo ng Execration. Blacklist International. Now, kilalanin natin kung sino nga ba maglalaro ngayong araw.
Now this lineup, Essen, Edward, Oheb, Oh My Venus, and Y. Siyempre di sila papatalo, no? Again, even though the headliner last week was Execration winning 2-0 against Omega, ito din yung team na even though kilala naman sila ng tao, gusto rin talaga nila magpakilala pa. Kasi we all knew that Blacklist International's performance last season was great. Their off-season was, sabihin natin medyo no? Ngayon, gusto kasi nila patunayan na this roster is one of the best, if not the best, MPL teams here in the league.
Yeah, I think every season we call Blacklist International the dark horse. Naging black horse na nga sila. Sobrang ganun nila. Pero I feel like this is a season where they have a very good chance of really entering the top echelon. We just need to watch their new lineup really work better this time.
Yeah.
Nakilala natin ang mga manlalaro ng Blacklist International. Now, let's welcome the players of Execration. At ang lineup ng Execration ngayong araw.
Tito Max, we got Chaknu, Renzio, Kilra, and Kill VJ. Again, despite having, konting handicap with Kill VJ, pinakita niyang hindi handicap ang issues niya in real world. In game, it's gonna be the same, or I would say even better last time around.
Actually, itong Execration, I think we've seen better forms on them, especially nung week 1. Kasi KLBJ, when he was still on Aura PH, yes, he had his moments, pero it really didn't feel like KLBJ last season. Pero ngayon nakikita natin in Execration, all of their players have stepped up. Kelra, Chakno, well si Chakno medyo common naman na talaga nag-i-step up yun. Si KLBJ talagang siya yung parang spearhead ng team nito. And actually, ganda nung sagot niya sa interview niya na siya yung magdadala sa Execration talaga towards the championship this season.
Execration versus Blacklist. They will go head-to-head. Nasa top 3 ng standings itong dalawang koponan na to. And this head-to-head is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999 pesos. So, itong dalawang koponan na to, galing sila sa pagkapanalo. They're off to a great start, they're in a good mood, but one of them has to win. They're both riding high. Sino ba sa kanila sa tingin nyo ang magdadala ng momentum?
I feel like it's still Execration at this point. Even though Blacklist International, they won against Aura PH, it's not a win that you can brag about. Again, Aura PH, they had some issues in their Game 2 and Game 3s. Execration, they just won against the world contender. So it feels like the momentum is on their side, and nasa kanila din kasi yung bola in this matchup.
Himayin natin ang kanilang team comparison. Yan ang kanilang statistics ngayon.
So dito naman sa stats, this is gonna be a little bit surprising here. With kill participation definitely higher for Execration compared to what we've seen from them from previous seasons.
Yeah, I think it's telling that yung KD and yung KPG rito, it tells that Execration has more cleaner games, but they find it really hard to close games against top contenders out there. Blacklist International, their average is 12 minutes, so that's really something that Execration should be worried about kasi these players have consistency with how they close their games. My issue with Blacklist International is that they have problems with micro objectives wherein Execration don't. But yeah, it's a little inconsistencies here and there that makes Blacklist International the better team against Execration. But still, you have to be worried about the kill stats on the side of Execration.
Meron tayong mga manlalaro na talagang naging susi sa kanilang pagkapanalo. But who will be head and shoulders above the competition? Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward It's a GG, hashtag It's a GG moment. Thanks to Head and Shoulders, 100% danger-free and itch-free. Now, mas mabango pa. Meron tayong mga key players na magaganda ang kanilang statistics. Simulan natin sa Execration. Ayan, nandyan si KLVJ, E2 Max, Kelra.
So, you're surprised, diba? Kelra and KLVJ, the two of the newest players in Execration, sila yung pinaka-key players sa stats. And that's because of probably their great mechanics. Nadala talaga nila from their other teams. Obviously, even better right now with the direction of E2 Max.
Yeah.
Uy, by the way, happy birthday, Kelra. Happy birthday, birthday niya. Nakita ko sa Facebook. Kaya sa mga manonood, kung gusto niyo maging update sa mga ganap dito sa MPL, follow niyo lang MPL Philippines. Ngayon naman, pag-usapan natin yung mga key players sa Blacklist International. Siyempre, nandyan si Oh My Venus, respected na talaga yung kanyang mga galawan dito sa MPL.
Yeah, these players, they have their own intricacies with how they play their game. You have Venus, the commanding voice of Blacklist International. Siya talaga nagdadala ng momentum ng Blacklist. And the surprise with Venus is that you can't predict kung ano yung gagamitin niya with on games that you are fighting them against. That is true as well on Eson, but most probably you'd want to look out for Wise. Kasi si Wise yung tao na most of the time ina-underestimate ng mga teams kasi his performance can be a little inconsistent, but when you give him a free game, Wise can dominate and control the momentum here instead of Venus for Blacklist International.
Meron tayong mga manlalaro na gusto natin syempre i-feature, and these featured players will do all they can para hindi ma-GG. Bring your clay game with Master, ang sikreto ng mga guwapo. So ito, titingnan natin ang ating mga featured player ngayon at ikukumpara natin ang mid laner to mid laner, E2 Max at si Oh My Venus. Napaka-patient ni Oh My Venus sa kanilang huling laro, no?
Yeah. Medyo interesting yung stats, no? Kasi usually si E2 Max yung aggressive support instead of Venus, but with the meta currently shifting to a defensive heavy lineups, I think it really favors Oh My Venus more. That's why you see a lot of KDAs on him. Kasi the very nature of the meta right now is that you play with your teammates. and naturally you'd net more kills. Kasi si Etomax, he is the type of player that can that usually wants to go for those solo plays. Remember the time when he was still known as one of the best Selena players, no? It doesn't really work well at the current meta.
Yep, and I think that 78% kill participation na kay Venus. Again, the team kind of rotates around.
Yeah.
Ipaliwanag naman natin ang mga lane advantage, mga lane control dito sa ating laning formation.
You have ito actually interesting matchup sa akin. Yung XP lane ng Execration and Blacklist International, Renzio versus Edward. I think this is the most interesting lane to look at if you really want to know what the game situation is currently looking at for these two teams. Kasi itong dalawang players ito yung magdidictate ng stability ng game for these two teams.
Hihimayin ng ating anchor and analyst ang mga labanan ngayong araw na to, kaya huwag na natin patagalin pa. Execration kontra sa Blacklist International. Rambulan na! Shoutcasters, pasok!
Isang rivalry, mga kaibigan, na hindi natin in-expect na mangyari nung off-season. Pero ngayon, oras na para dalhin natin to sa pinakamalaking stage sa MLBB PH scene. Welcome to the Caster's Desk, ladies and gentlemen. Ako nga pala si Butters, ang iyong anchor. Kasama ko ngayon si Manjin Faldas, ang iyong analyst. And remember guys, MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. At syempre, wag lang natin kakalimutan that MPL Philippines Season 7 is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Board. Manjin, kamusta?
Here we go pare, nakakapagod ang nangyaring week 1 and for sure mauubos na naman ang energy natin dahil mukhang mainit kagad ang entrada ng MPL Season 7. Tama ka, Butters? Itong matchup na to, nangyayari na off-season pa lang.
And right now, guys, let us head on to the draft. Who will make the smart choices? Catch it next, brought to you by Smart. Free to game great with Smart. Free games for all. Mainit na mainit tong laban na to. And let's go to the draft, Manjin.
Here we go. Again, Butters, nabanggit mo dito yung off-season battle between Execration and Blacklist. Last time na naglaban itong dalawang players na to ay isang championship tournament din, local tournament here in the Philippines na sinasaliya ng mga pro teams, and then 2 weeks ago lang yon. So may pagka-fresh pa ang nangyari dito. And the fact na nagkaroon sila dito ng Game 1 last week, may part sa akin na itong dalawang tong teams ay nag-adjust sa isa't isa. Pero, kaya ko gusto i-emphasize yan dahil itong Execration, makikita na naman ba kaya natin yung full 5-man, the Queen bans nila na hindi naging effective last time na nakita sila.
Tama ka doon, Manjin. As you are seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen, Estes and Diggy, ang binan dito ng Execration. Well, for the side of Blacklist, Selena, Johed, at Baksha.
Yeah, and I like what the Blacklist right now is doing. Kasi tinitake away nila dito yung mga comfort picks dito ng mga tanks ng side ng Execration. Execration really loves to play aggressively. They know how to really give KLBJ this opportunity to get the jungle. So with the Baksha out, with the Johed out, and the Selena, may option ngayon ang Blacklist. There you go. May mga option sila ngayon para kumuha nito mga supports nila, and mukhang ito na yung priority nila. The Matilda. So mukhang, nako, ligtas na naman si Wise dito.
Then again, Manjin, pwedeng maging tank to ng Blacklist International given the trend na nakita natin nung week number 1.
Yeah, and I can therefore say Execration is still going that same road kung saan gusto nilang i-cancel dito yung capability ng mid people ng side ng Blacklist, which is, yes, this Matilda can be also a tank na pwedeng gamitin ni Eson, and actually pwede pang pumili yung Blacklist dito ng isang Eve para sa kanilang lineup. So I think with this, ang pwedeng sagot ng Execration dito ay itong mga sustain heavy and side lane heroes. Kung if ever man nire-respeto ng Execration itong mid people ng Blacklist, kailangan at least ma-50-50 nyo or matalo nyo si Oheb at si Edward, which is I think yun yung magiging assignment ni Renjo at ni Kelra.
And since sinabi mo nga yan, Manjin, tama ka eh. Kasi ang kinuha dito ng Execration is Alice tsaka Pakito. So ibig sabihin, ni-reinforce na nila agad yung mga side lanes nila. So that means they really just want to set up yung magandang pundasyon doon sa kanilang sides.
Definitely, and without the Digi time journey na pwedeng makuha dito ng side ng Blacklist, easy knock up for the Pakito, easy stuns for the Alice. Kelra was outstanding with the Alice last time. One of the heroes na kapag pumunta tayo ng late game, definitely will get damage. At hindi lang damage, may part na kumukunat din dahil sa lifesteal na napro-provide nito. So I like it para sa umpisa dito ng Execration. Ang tanong lang dito, Kuya Butters, is that yung Blacklist kasi may aggressive picks kagad na pinili. The fact na meron silang pinili na Harit, the fact na sinagot din nila to ng Yishun-Shin, ibig sabihin, sabi ng Blacklist, suntukan hanggang dulo.
And
hanggang dulo.
Hindi bago to sa side ng Blacklist International kasi nung nakast din namin yung games nila, eto din yung dalawang pick nila dun sa first phase. Hindi sila nagbaback down dyan sa YSS na yan at Harit.
Hindi talaga. And this is a Harit gold lane. Actually, kailangan natin i-take note na may part na pwede itong ma-shutdown. And Execration can do that.
True.
Again, 50-50 yung magiging side lane nila dito. I think this is going to be played by Ohev right now. So kung sino man ngayon yung mag-aalis, kung sino man yung magpapakito dito sa side ng Exe, it's again either Kelra or Renjo, really needs to get this Harit off. Ang pwede sigurong gawin ng Execration dito is tumapat doon sa mga ganks na pwedeng gawin ng Blacklist. I think kaya rin nila pinili dito yung Popol and Copa. May onting depensa para sa side ng Exe.
Oo, and ngayon for the side of Execration, ang ganda din nung first set ng picks nila. Actually, yung dalawang team na to, ang ganda nung mga first set ng picks nila. Napaka-komportable. Feel na feel mo yung pagiging Blacklist ng Blacklist at feel na feel mo yung pagiging Execration ng Execration.
Totoo ka dyan, no? Malalaman mo talaga na ito talaga yung playstyle at characters nitong dalawang teams. And I think, given din yan sa ban dito ng Execration. And finally, hindi na sila kumuha ng 5-man Venus bans. Dahil nga siguro na-pick na yung Matilda dito. So that's why right now, ang tina-target nila ngayon ay si Eson Esports. Hindi ako magtataka kung baka pwede pang iban yung Franco dito. Kasi kung iisipin mo, ang Harit, ang Matilda at ang Yishun-Shin ay maganda ang capability kapag magkakadikit silang lahat. So I think yun din yung reason kung ba't binandito ng Execration yung Atlas. Kasi they know na gusto nga ng Blacklist itong mga dikit-dikit na matchups, itong 5-on-5 Royal Rumble matchups. So ngayon ang gagawin ng Exe, eliminate muna tong mga tanks na to. Actually, yung in-eliminate nila, hindi Franco, in-eliminate nila isa pang setter. And then, sabi ng Exe, idaan natin sa hiwalayan, idaan natin sa pick-offs. Popolin ko pa traps, stunts mula sa Pakito, iisa-isahin namin ng Blacklist International.
And sa totoo lang, Manjing, kapag kumuha ng Franco dito yung Blacklist International, pabor pa yan sa Execration. Isipin mo, ang mahuhook mo, isang Alice, isang Pakito, i-gap close muna sila, tapos may isang extra target ka pa kay Kupa, yung si Wolf, na pagka nahatak mo yun, hindi naman papansinin yun ng Execration all in all eh.
Yeah, and hindi rin worth ang pag-hook ng Kupa dahil nga kasing amount lang ng minion gold yung makukuha mo doon sa sa dog na alaga nga ni Popol dito. And look at this, like what we've said, sabi nga natin gusto ng Execration lituhin yung Blacklist. Ayaw nilang sumabay dito ng 5-on-5 rambulan. Ang gusto ng Execration ay yung mga 2-on-2 matchups, yung mga 3-on-3 matchups, minsan pa nga 2-on-3, and they will hope to do outplays, to do mechanical outplays para maligaw ngayon ang Blacklist International. I think magde-depend din to, Butters, sa early game execution na mangyayari na gustong gawin ng Execration.
Blacklist International, kumuha sila agad dito ng Benedetta, Eson dito, still waiting or still thinking about that last pick na gagawin niya. For the side of Execration, Manjin, tama ka doon. They go for a Hayabusa. Blacklist International, who do they go for? Kufra. It's going to be a Kufra.
I think this is the first time na makikita natin yung Kufra for the season. And again, nakikita natin ngayon yung capability ng Blacklist. They can go in and out, but they can also take 5-on-5 team fights. And this is scary. Again, one way to really shut this down is kailangan mamili ngayon ng Execration. Sino ang isa-shutdown natin sa side lane? Harit ba o Benedetta ba? Kasi kailangan mawalan ng damage yung Blacklist. Kasi again, Execration, they can pull off 2-on-2 1v1s. Ngayon, ang hinihintay ko dito, isa pang side lane, Uranus. Okay.
Uranus ang kinuha nila. So, magiging Pakito, tank to, Manjin. Ngayon, Gusto ko yung Kufra pick eh. Kasi parang ang inisip dito ni Coach Bonchan, parang talagang diretso eh.
Set up
Kumuha sila ng Hayabusa, magka-quad shadow yan. So ang gawin natin, ipitin natin sa bouncing ball para hindi makatakas.
Yeah, and alam dito ng Blacklist na pwede ring mahuli yung Alice. So it will all depend on how really good Eson dito sa Kufra pick na to. 50-50 ang nangyaring matchup dito, Butters, but I think ang nag-drive ng lineup dito ay ang Blacklist International. Sobrang nagandahan ako sa bigla ang Benedetta side lane na pinik nila dito na I think hindi in-expect ng side dito ng Execration.
Ang ginawa dito ng Execration, katulad ng sinabi mo, tama ka dun, Manjin eh. Mechanics, talagang o-overwhelm mo yung kalaban mo para hindi kanya mahuli. Ang sagot naman ng Blacklist International, straightforward. Lalabanin nyo kami sa mechanics, sige, may Kufra kami.
May Kufra kami and it's all gonna depend on the setup. It's about a team outplaying a team. I think ang mga pwede natin tignan ngayon dito, Butters, is that since given na itong mga junglers natin, Wise on the YSS, you have KLBJ on the Hayabusa as well, paano ngayon maglalaro yung side laners, which is yun yung nagustuhan kong matchup dito na napag-usapan din ng panel natin kanina. Renjo versus Edward. Sino ang gagamit ngayon? Sino ang gagamit ngayon ng mga heroes? There you go. Edward on the Benedetta against sa Uranus. Hindi agad mapapatumba yung Uranus, but still, a Uranus can match up. A Uranus can sustain that lane.
And nakikita mo din si Chaknu, medyo nakikipag-trade siya dito ng konti kay Eson, but still, the fact remains, Blacklist International, naging aggressive sila dito at sinisepat nila agad kung ano nga ba yung gagawin ng Execration.
Definitely mauuna ang Blacklist International dito pagdating sa wave clear. Ganun na kasi uso ngayon, Butters eh. Wave clear yung tatlo, unahan sa Lito Wanderer, unahang makuha yung 15% yung heal na meron, yung walking grass, and then go for gank. So ngayon, ang camera natin ay tumitingin kay Wise. Gagank pa siya dito sa gilid in a while, pero okay, hold that thought, Butters. Kakasabi ko lang kanina, itong matchup ang titignan natin, Edward outplaying Renjo. Renjo was level 1, I think.
Oo. E tatandaan mo, laging merong opening ang Benedetta sa level 1 netong mga heroes na dependent sa skills.
Dependent talaga. Ito yung delikado ngayon sa Exe. Kasi level 1 Alice, level 1 Uranus, kaya kasing patumbayin yun eh. Lalo-lalo na yung Alice.
Totoo, totoo. Pero, alam mo, nakikita ko ngayon na si Renjo talaga, kailangan niya lang makuha yung level 2 niya. Chakno dito, kung mababa yung buhay, nakakapag-regen siya ng konti, nakuha niya yung fruits, and right now, Venus will be the target of KLVJ. KLVJ getting 1 kill. Execration dito, sumasagot din ang sarili nilang suntok.
That was a 1-for-1 exchange, but I think since nakuha kasi ni KLBJ yung kill, ibibigay ko yung favor doon para sa side ng Exe. This time, kailangan to ma-utilize ni KLBJ. Probably go for another gank like this.
Edward dito, kamunti ka na siya mahuli, pero sabi ng Execration, chill lang tayo, huwag tayo masyado magpadala sa bukso ng damdamin, huwag tayo lumaban agad-agad.
But I think kailangan nilang ilaban tong turtle take na to, Butters, dahil yun na nga. Kakasabi lang natin, kailangan ma-utilize ni KLBJ yung fact na nakakuha siya ng kill. Again, this is a Hayabusa. Hayabusa versus Yishon Shin. May onting millisecond na mauuna yung Hayabusa pag pareha sila ng farm eh.
Tama yung idea na ginawa ng Execration dun eh. Gusto talaga nila i-contest. But still, the fact remains, hindi maganda yung pwesto nila in the first place.
Yeah.
So, medyo nakakaroon ng problema dito in terms of communication etong Execration.
Yeah.
But for Blacklist International, nakukuha naman nila yung gusto nila.
I think ang binabanggit natin dito, Butters, kasi is mas mabilis yung snowball dito ng Blacklist eh. Kasi ang Hayabusa, aasa siya na kailangan makakila ko, kailangan makakuha ko ng early levels. Kung hindi, pag hindi ako nakakuha ng magandang shadow kill, pwedeng ako yung ma-outplay. Which is ganun yung nangyari kanina sa Turtle Pit.
And speaking of kills dito, Blacklist International gets another kill dito kay Chaknu. Ang ganda ng utilization na ginagawa dito ni Eson nung Tyrant's Revenge.
Yeah, the Tyrant's Revenge really putting in the work. And looking at the gold right now, Butters, lamang si Edward dito, but in a while, etong si Renjo ay makakabawi din. This is a Uranus. So ngayon, tapos na yung side lane matchup. Ang titignan na natin ngayon dito, Butters, yung binanggit mo nga, Eson with this Kufra. Paano ngayon tatapat dito si Chakno? And actually, first time ko nakita si Chakno on this, on this Popol and Kupa, Butters, ha?
And KLVJ dito, hinahabol unti-unti ni Eson. And right now, there is the Tyrant's Revenge. Nagkabatuan na skills dito, mga kaibigan. And Mountain Shocker, tinapon siya. Matilda going in. They might have bit more than they can chew dito, pero andito din si Edward, eye for an eye, hindi yun sapat. That is going to be a 3-for-3.
Yeah. It was a 3-for-3 and wow, I think I would give that trade to Blacklist International because still, Wise, na-shutdown na si KLBJ dito. 2 beses na nawala si KLBJ. Kung babalikan natin yung laban na yun, pinilit talaga ng Blacklist na pasukin yung inner tower and mind you, yung tower, mas masakit na yung damage ngayon. Pero wow, that call from Edward going in just to shut down the Hayabusa. And dito na natin nakikita, Butters, na yung snowball ng Exe hindi pa umaabot sa power spike. Mamaya pa nila kakayanin yung mga 2v2s, yung mga 3v3s. Kailangan muna nilang kumuha ng farm.
Isa yung patunay, Manjin, na hindi talaga rewarding ang pag-dive ngayon. Pero Execration naman dito, they go for the turtle, hindi nag-contest ang Blacklist International. Surprising yun para sa akin.
Yeah, kasi I think mas prioritize dito ng Blacklist International yung kanilang side lanes at yung kanilang map control. KLBJ is now at 2 deaths, Butters. Pero this is still KLBJ. He knows kung paano siya makaka-back up dito. And the fact na may mga vision ng Execration, hindi agad-agad makakapag-gank itong side ng Blacklist. Look at this, Blacklist na nagiging agresibo eh.
And nakikita mo naman si Edward dito, pasok na siya ng pasok in KLBJ. Hindi niya talaga magawa yung pagkuha ng mga buff dito. Wise going down, ladies and gentlemen. And naipit doon sila Edward, na-immobilize sila. That's going to be a triple kill for Kelra. And Blacklist International dito, sila na ata yung nasa backline. Sila na ata yung naghahabol.
Sila na talaga nagiging aggressive masyado yung side ng Blacklist International. And actually, I was mistaken earlier. Akala ko si Chakno itong Popol and Kupa, but it was Eto Max. Laging on point. Dito yung mga pagharang niya sa side ng Blacklist and even Chakno with the knock-up. So, again, Blacklist, kailangan nilang respetuhin dito yung damage output ng Exe. Nagiging agresibo sila eh. May part na gusto nilang makuha itong kill na to kasi nasasayangan sila sa lamang nila. But again, yung composition kasi ng Exe made for them to sustain itong mga aggressive movements ng Blacklist. Parang itong Uranus, pwede mabuhay ito eh.
And Regio dito nahuli siya ng hoverboard and that's going to be a pickup para kay Wise. Pero si Chakno dito, susubukan niya kumuha ng kill. But look at that ultimate. Na-dodge na dito yung ultimate din ni Eson. Pero Blacklist International, magbaback off na sila dito. Ang gusto lang naman talaga nila is kunin yung turret na yon.
Buti na lang kamo napatay dito ng Blacklist si Renjo dahil kung hindi, malamang pwede pang kumambak ang Execration. This time, Butters, tinitignan ko na yung late game dito and I do feel na hindi ganoon kamadaling mapapatumba yung lineup ng Exe. Kaya nilang mag-ban up and kaya din nilang mag-outplay in terms of mechanics. May trap sila, may pakito sila. Ang kailangan lang nila dito, mabait yung Blacklist na papasok ng solo dahil aggressive ngayon yung Blacklist, mapitas nila and go for other kills. They also have the opportunity to split the map because of the Uranus and the Alice. Again, our main point dito, pag late game, baka pumabor sa side ng Exe.
And nakita mo yung pwestuhan doon ni Eson nandun siya sa may pinakalikod. Mountain Shocker dito, gagamitin ng Blacklist International para makita nila kung may nakatago pa doon sa likod ng mga brushes ng Execration. Execration, nung nawala si Renjo sa kanila, nag-call na sila. Back na tayo, huwag natin sugal.
And I like it. Para dito sa Blacklist, it's all about positioning pa rin. Again, tabla pa rin ang laban na to, Butters eh. Hindi ganoon kalaki yung nagiging lead ng Blacklist. And may mga times na sumusubok sila ditong gumow, pero nagkakaroon ng times na na-outwit din sila ng Exe. I think what they need to do right now is really heavily punish this top lane kung nasan si Renjo. Kasi dito, ayan o, look at this, nagre-react ang Exe, kailangan na nila mag-back. There you go.
And eto yung pincer attack na gagawin dito sa side ng Execration. Pinuntahan nila agad dito si Oheb. Merong mga minsan papasok. Tingnan natin kung tatama ba dito. Yung shadow kill. Oheb dito, hindi na kinailangan. Si Chakno nandun. Eson trying to go for the kill. Trying to go for the help. Pero hindi aabot yon. At madadamay din siya. Damay si Bilyan.
Damay si Bilyan, pero I think that was a diversion play for the side of Blacklist. Nakakuha kayo ng 2 hero, pero ang tagal nilang napatumba si Oheb at si Eson. To the point na kamuntikan pa nga atang maka-outplay si Eson doon and nabasag doon yung tower ng side ng Blacklist sa baba. yes, naka-buy time dito yung Exe, pero mission accomplished para sa Blacklist kasi hindi rin nakuha dito ng Exe yung top lane. So buy time lang talaga yon para sa Exe.
Ngayon, Blacklist International, ang utak nila dito, nasa long game eh.
Oo.
Gusto nila dito, yung map control. Hindi yung mga objectives na lumalabas lang or mga monsters na lumalabas lang doon sa jungle. Ayaw nila ng kills. Gusto nila dito talaga, map control.
Map control talaga. Because I think of the vision din na inatid ng Mountain Shocker, tinatapatan nila dito yung Popol and Kupa. Akala ko nga kanina, mas magpipick up ang Exe, pero mas gusto ng Exe dito, defensive movements. I think may hirapan ng Exe din dito makakuha ng mga kills. Look at this, naliligaw ngayon ng Exe kung kukuha ba sila nitong kill sa Lord, magsisplit, or dedepensa sa taas. Oh.
Kailan ka dito going down, and this might be the initiation or this might be the moment na inaantay ng Blacklist International. Ang tanong, lalaban ba ang execution dito? Importante itong first Lord para sa kanila. This is going to set the pace. Nung laban, Shaq2 nasa harapan. Lumalaban siya dito, sinusubukan niya i-take down si Wise. Pero yung knock-up ng Lord, ang daming nahuli. Oh my Venus dito, nasa may pinakalikod na. Eto Max, still alive. Edward dito with a sword in 10. Tutumba sila dito, and that is going to be a wipeout para sa side ng Blacklist International. Execution dito, sinubukan lang talaga nilang kumontes, but still, hindi enough in damage.
Blacklist International, pwede nating sabihin na they're really breaking the code of Exe. Naligaw yung Exe kung saan sila pupunta. Tatlo yung nangyaring senaryo. Kelra, nag-split po siya baba, inatake siya, ginank, nawala siya. Si Renjo, hindi nila alam kung dedepensa sila. And the other three, they were really wondering kung dedepensahan din nila yung Lord take. And with Blacklist na napitas na si Kelra dito, they know na wala ng ibang AOE initiations, they know na wala pang damage si KLBJ, alam nila na lamang sila.
Shaq2 with a 2-man, nakakaptik natin dito kung paano sila lalaban. And look at this, all hell is breaking loose mga kaibigan. Kelra dito with a surprise. Execution dito, they are forced to go back.
Yes, man, and mukhang hindi na rin sila makakapag-farm ng late game damage output dito. Oheb and company, man, Oheb with the Matilda. Yes, nawala si Venus dito, pero man, this Harit 4-1-4.
Shaq2 dito.
Grabe.
Natanggal na naman siya dito, naburan na naman siya ng Blacklist International. And here comes the teleport. Galing kay Edward. Edward dito, ginamit na yung Electro Final Blow para kahit papano ay maklear agad yung minion wave.
And I think this is it, Butters. Blacklist International breaking the code sa game number 1. May onting defensive movements para sa Exe.
And that is a great move na takedown nila dito si Wise. Eson dito will go down din. Execration dito, they will survive and live another day, another Clash Manjin.
Isa pang team fight ang kailangan hanapin dito ng Blacklist. And they need to hope for the best na hindi magkaroon ng gold dito ang side ng Exe. An Alice is an Alice late game. It can definitely shred the life of the Yishun Shin. May part na kaya niya ring sumabay sa Harit kapag nasa tamang pwesto. And Blacklist, they know this. Unfortunately, nabitin lang yung minions nila sa top lane. And wala din si Venus doon eh. So ngayon, kailangan nila mag-survive. Or kailangan nila pumitas ngayon na.
Pero eto si Oheb medyo naging aggressive talaga. Zaman force para ma-force back yung mga members dito ng side ng Execration. Ngayon, Execration, tama yung nasa isip nila. Gusto talaga nila mag-push. Kasi nga kulang dito yung Blacklist. Pero yung Blacklist, hindi din sila, sabihin natin, magko-conserve o magtatago ng mga skills para lang mag-back.
And they know na pwede talagang mag-push yung Exe doon. Gusto ko lang emphasize dito, Butters. Again, the side lane matchups. Look at this. 9K and 9-7 para kay Oheb at kay Edward dito against their enemies sa side lane. And I think they had a better time. Kasi again, a Uranus and an Alice at level 1, pwede mong i-punish eh. May part na, actually yung Harit pwede mo rin i-punish. Pero kasi since si Wise nag-rotate siya agad dun sa baba, lumamang na lumamang si Oheb to the point na yes, binanggit mo, Oheb nagiging agresibo na siya. Alam niya pa na meron siyang Matilda at alam niya kagad na may Mountain Shocker na pwede bumakap. Look at this, Edward, pumasok kagad sa 5.
Ang ganda ng pwesto ni Edward, pinorse back niya dito si Etomax, and that is going to be a pick-off para sa side ng Blacklist International. Ang ganda ng pagkakagamit ng Electro Final Blow doon.
Wow, 6-1-5 para kay Edward dito, Butters. And again, kung mamimili tayo ng MVP ngayon para sa side ng Blacklist, maliligaw ka kung kay Edward ba or kay Oheb kasi parehas silang nag-i-initiate gamit dito sa mga heroes nila. Ngayon, kailangan na to ng depensa para sa Exe.
And surprise, Winter Truncheon, ginamit doon sa may gitna, nag-grow siya as a player. Chakno dito going down. Oh my Venus dito, biting off more than he can chew. Wise, medyo napunta sa iba yung shadow kill doon. Nasalba siya noon mga kaibigan. Eson dito with the ultimate Tyrant's Revenge. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Ito yung tinatawag natin Eson Esports Factor. And that is going to win Blacklist International game number 1. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Grabe yung suntukan doon sa may mismong larong yon. And this winning moment is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only $13.99.
All I can say sa game na yon, Butters.
$9.99. Hindi ba 99?
All I can say sa game na yon, Butters, nagka-discount All I can say is that strong side lanes. Actually, 50-50 yung side lane matchup pero the better player came on top. Edward and Oheb. Nakita natin yung first blood ni Edward on the Benedetta. And alam mo to, Batter, sa side lane, yung Benedetta may part na dapat kabisado mo yung skills niya. And after that, nag-snowball sila ng todo. Nawala kagad dito yung strength ng Exe na give space to kill BJ. Dahil namatay kagad si kill BJ 2 beses Napitas nila and yung side lanes talagang napilay para sa side ng Exe.
Gusto ko yung ginagawa dito nila Coach Bonchan na hindi naman lagi dapat complex or laging cheese yung ginagawa nila. Minsan, may mga bagay na magandang sagutin ng straightforward.
Yeah.
Yung diretsong sagot lang talaga. Yung wala ka na pag-iisipan. Kahit hindi meta yung tank, as long as tingin mo, sakto siya dun sa sitwasyon na yon, kukunin at kukunin mo yan.
Kukunin talaga nila. I think kamuntikan pa yung Blacklist doon dahil merong turtle fight na kamuntikan din nanalo yung Exe. Pero oh well, another day, another game.
And babato na natin to sa ating resident analyst, Midnight. What are your thoughts?
Thank you so much, casters. Ang storya ng laban na to, I would say, is more on the draft. Hindi dahil lang isang team ay nanalo sa draft, or like outdrafting one another, or it's just all about a team understanding their own draft. At hindi lang yan, mukhang itong dalawang team na to kilalang kilala ang isa't isa nila dahil sa kanilang mga laban outside of the MPL. My name is Wolf and I'm gonna be breaking down that first game between Execration and Blacklist. Ngayon, nasabi ko about yung dalawang teams na parang kilala nila isa't isa. Una sa lahat, yung Execration, ang kanilang ginawa ay ginawa na nila dati sa Blacklist International, yung iban mo halos lahat ng heroes ni Oh My Venus. And the following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. Ngayon pinag-usapan natin ang mga bans. However, hindi nila napigilan ang Matilda ni Oh My Venus for Blacklist International. In fact, it was first picked by Blacklist. Ngayon yung Execration, nakuha naman nila yung comfort picks nila. In fact, ginamit din nila yung hero na pwedeng gamitin ng Blacklist International, which is a third pick, Popol and Koopa. However, hindi siya naging enough. Ngayon, para sa Pakito and Alice, this is comfort para sa Execration. Pwede nilang gamitin bilang side laners ang Pakito, pati na rin Alice, pero pwede na rin naman as tank, tulad na ginawa ni Chapno. Nakikita natin ang mga items ng Blacklist International. Overwhelmingly, mas madami silang items over Execration dahil sa kanilang farm. So, hindi ganong ka-impactful yung mga mismong items na naipakita natin kanina, but more on yung timing kung kailan sila nakuha. There was a time, 9 minutes into this game, na ang pera ni Wise ay lamang ng 1,800 or about 2,000 over his jungle counterpart, which is Kill VJ. Which means that by 9 minutes, during the lurk timing, lamang siya ng isang item. The following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. At hindi lang yan. Ang napansin ko para sa Blacklist International, mas naintindihan nila ngayon ang kanilang draft over Execration. Dahil meron silang mga konting lamang. Hindi sila sobrang outdrafted. Execration ay hindi sobrang outdrafted dito. Pero yung Blacklist International, mas alam nila yung strength ng kanilang draft over Execration. These game highlights, by the way, na mapapanood natin are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament co-partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart Free Games for All. Makikita natin, understanding ng draft sa Blacklist International, meron sila Matilda, Kufra, at yung kabila naman ay madaling i-pressure doon sa kanilang mga jungle. Like for example, eto Max, yun lang yung pwedeng protekta dito, habang si Chakno naman ay pwede rin protekta pero hindi ganun kalakas. Ngayon, first turtle going in favor of Blacklist International, eto yung strength ng kanilang lineup na sinasabi ko kanina. Mas lamang ang Blacklist International sa pag-take ng objectives dahil sa decent chin, for vision, and early game damage. Tapos meron kang Matilda at Kupra pang zone out. Tapos meron kang Benedetta pang cut ng waves. And then, of course, your Ohe Bahari. Ito siguro yung masasabi nating problema para sa Blacklist. Nag-dive sila at na-punish ng Execration. However, it doesn't matter so much. Mataas ang lead ng Blacklist International. At ang gusto nilang gawin dito ay i-keep yung pressure sa mapa. It is okay. Pag napigilan nila yung farm ni Kelra at ni Renzo on this Uranus, as long as they keep the economy in their favor. Very good clashes, by the way, mula sa Execration dahil ang pwestuhan ng Blacklist International ay medyo hindi maganda. Ngayon, ang maganda nga lang ginagawa dito ng Blacklist International ay kumukuha sila ng kills around objectives like turrets. Katulad ng mga pick-off na to, sobrang crucial dahil makakakuha ng Lord Control bigla ang side ng Blacklist International. Do take note, ang ganda ng timing yung pag-space out ng mga members ng Blacklist International dito dahil if you'll notice the damage output or yung source ng damage mula sa Execration, AoE type siya. Sabihin na natin may sustained damage ka or may damage over time ka from Uranus at Alice, mabagal yung burst nila at this point in the game at meron kang immediate burst coming out from the Hayabusa pero dahil wala pa silang items, hindi natin nakita yon sa Lord Fight. Do take note, nung nagkaroon ng Lord Fight, yung lamang ng Blacklist International ay isang item. Parang katumbas ng isang item. Hindi naman literally isang item, but about 2,000 ang lamang ni Wise over LVJ at that specific moment, which means na kung damage output lang, kung harapan lang ang usapan, ay talagang lalamang ang Blacklist International. To recap what I just said, ang pinaka-importanting factor kung bakit nanalo ang Blacklist International sa laban na to ay dahil mas naintindihan nila na mas malakas sila mag-take ng objectives dahil sa heroes nila. By the way, makikita natin ang MVP na ating laban, which is the Benedetta mula kay Edward. The MVP of the game was brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to gain great with free games for all. Bakit crucial ang ginawa ni Edward sa laban na to? Hindi lang dahil sa kanyang performance. 7, 1, and 6, napakaganda na kanyang team fight presence, pero hindi lang yan. Siya yung gumawa ng space para sa kanyang mga teammates by cutting the waves around the map. Imagine this, nasa pwesto ka ng Execration. Gusto mong mag-farm, pero yung Benedetta, inuubos yung waves ninyo at hindi ka makapwesto sa mapa kasi kailangan mong i-clear yung side lanes. This means na yung Uranus, pati na rin yung Alice, kinakailangan nilang mag-stay doon sa lane nila. Which also means na dalawang heroes agad ang wala sa side ng Execration. So pag nagkaroon ng 4v3 na laban, obviously, mananalo ang Execration, ang Blacklist International sa mga ganong moments. That has been my analysis of that game number 1. I'm sure nababawi dito ang Execration or kaya na ba ng Blacklist. Tapos ito ng 2-0. Tingnan natin, ibabalik na natin ito sa ating mga casters. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Wolf, and salamat din Midnight dahil natawag ko siya kanina. But still, it is what it is. Welcome back to the Casters Desk. Kami pa rin ang yung maging shoutcasters for game number 2. Ako si Butters, siya si Manjin, at kami ang yung laban casters. And right now, Manjin, Blacklist International, if they get the better draft para sa akin dito sa game number 2, this might well be a 2-0.
Yeah, and they're riding the momentum. Remember, Execration, nakakuha sila ng 2-0 last week. And this is the first loss na nakita natin with Execration sa MPL. And ngayon, paano nila ira-ride to pagdating sa draft 2? Kasi Butters, ito ang question natin pagdating sa draft. Same formula pa rin ba sila? Are they still gonna ban the Queen's heroes? Yun hindi natin alam eh.
And speaking of banning, papunta na tayo sa ating drafting. Sino nga ba ang gagawa ng mga smart picks at smart bans? Catch it next, brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. Ngayon, Manjin, talking about the draft, what are the adjustments na pwede gawin na Execration dito?
I can therefore say, baguhin na yung plano ng Execration. Kung ikaw ay Execration fan, I can feel na hindi lang si Venus ang
Totoo.
ang nagdadrive sa Blacklist International. Like what Wolf said, napagana dito ng Blacklist International yung lahat, yung composition nila. They know na lamang sila early game. They know na kapag nagka-item ito si Nakel BJ, malulugi sila. Kaya talagang aggressive sila sa pagkuha ng objectives. And I feel na again, Execration, they need to respect the whole team, not just Venus.
Oo kasi, Manjin, the more na binaban out mo si Venus, the more na tumututo ka sa kanya kasi, ibig sabihin, nakakawala at nakakahinga yung ibang members ng Blacklist.
Totoo.
Ngayon, ang kalaban nyo dito, hindi lang si Eson, hindi lang si Venus. Meron pa kayong Oheb, Wise, Edward na kailangan isipin.
And talagang ang ganda ng pinapakita nila. Again, I think Blacklist is now used to these types of drafts na ginagawa sa kanila ng mga teams. And I think it's not healthy na ngayon sa side ng Execration. Natalo din sila dito nung 2 weeks ago. And kanina natalo sila by banning these heroes. Probably siguro nire-respeto lang nila kasi ayaw talaga nilang kalaban. And ngayon, kailangan nila ding maintindihan na ano na ngayon yung mga specific na pwede natin piliin. I like it, back siya opening. This is one best pick para kay Kelra and it can negate heroes na kaya mag-sustain. Ini-expect na naman nila ngayon yung mga heroes na may healing capabilities.
Interesting standpoint, Banjin. Natuwa ako doon sa sinabi mo. But still, Execration dito, they ban out yung mga healing heroes ni Venus while getting the backsha for themselves. Hindi ba counterintuitive to, Manjin?
I think ine-expect pa rin nila dito yung mga Esmeralda. I think probably Matilda is in the pool. Alice siguro kasi may 2 picks ngayon yung Blacklist. And yes, this is a comfort pick din kasi para kay Kelra na nakita natin last week.
Blacklist International dito, still sticking with their draft. They go for the Matilda, they go for the YSS. Why fix something na hindi naman sira?
Yes, definitely. And another great objective-taking tandem. But it's a good thing na meron kang back siya dito for them to, for Execration to be defensive din. Pagdating dito sa mga objective-taking na gustong gawin ng Yishun Shin at ng Matilda. Again, Butters, I don't know if you're gonna agree with me. Yishun Shin is one of the fastest right now na junglers.
Walang hindi agree sa'yo.
Kahit walang item, may crit.
Alam mo, walang hindi agree sa'yo. Sa totoo lang, YSS is one of those heroes. Sa sinabi nga to ni Wolf dati, nagkaroon siya ng indirect buff dahil nga doon sa pacing ngayon ng gubat.
Definitely. Pero tignan natin kasi kung titignan mo, Butters, merong Alice at merong Benedetta para dito sa kanilang squad. At least this time yung Execration, nagnakaw na sila. And eto pa, hindi pa natin alam ngayon kung saan pipwesto tong Baksha at kung saan pipwesto yung Benedetta kasi pwede sila mag-swap eh.
Ngayon, Harris na naman ang kukunin yung Blacklist International dito. Walang nagbago. It's the same thing.
Yep. And ang pwedeng mangyari kasi dito, pumili ulit yung Exe ng isa pang side lane na pwedeng tumapat na sa Benedetta. Or, I think magbabago, pwede nga actually magbago to Butters kasi kailangan din nila ng lockdown dito sa Exe. Kasi Benedetta can easily escape. Baksha can easily escape. So kailangan nila dito ng burst and lockdown. Let's see. Actually, ako, gusto ko pa rin makita dito yung mga Eson Esports specialty eh.
Ngayon, dahil nga ganito yung lineup ng Execration, hindi tayo mag-expect masyado ng isang Franco dahil nga medyo paharap na naman dito yung mga heroes ng side ng Execration. Isipin mo, makakahuka ng Alice. Parang pinadali mo yung buhay ng Alice nun eh.
Oo, kasi pinatabi mo eh. Ngayon, kailangan respetuhin ng Blacklist dito. Eliminate nila dito yung mga heroes na pwedeng mag-set up for them. Kasi I think ang bitin ngayon sa side ng Exe is yung insta catch. Kasi for example, yung back siya, magigets mo kung saan siya manggagaling. Even yung Alice may part na pwede mong maiwasan yung second skill ng Alice. So, sabi ng Blacklist, wag natin silang pag-set upin. Sugurin natin sila, tanggalin natin yung counter go mechanics na meron ang Exe. Kaya ayan, tinanggal nila yung Luyi ni Etomax. Probably ban another mage then, respecting Etomax dito. Let's see kung ano ang ban ng Exe, pare. Kasi sinabi mo, Franco is not a worthy ban. Pero I think mataasan talaga ang respeto dito ng Exe sa 50-50 capability ng Blacklist.
But then again, Manjin, tatandaan mo, iba yung standpoint ng mga players dito. Iba yung nakikita nila.
Iba talaga,
It's a
oo,
whole
iba.
new playing field. And right now, for the side of Execration,
Your team
itong
is banning.
backsya na to, I'm thinking na ito na yung Chakno hero.
Pwede, no? Tapos Benedetta side lane. Oo, no?
Oo.
Benedetta side lane.
Or, pwede din naman ito na yung mismo magiging jungle nila, yung Benedetta.
Kay KLBJ.
Kay KLBJ.
And yun yung maganda sa Benedetta ngayon, kaya highly picked din eh. Hindi mo alam kung saan pupunta. Interesting siguro kung ano, no? Side lane Benedetta, side lane back siya. Tapos ang hinihintay pala natin, tank. Pwede eh.
Hindi natin alam.
Kasi may alis na pala, may alis na pala.
Pero
oo.
kasi ang taas ng priority ng isang alis eh.
Oo, may alis na
Oo, kailangan mo yung stacks para sa isang alis. So who knows,
Oh.
Execution dito, they might pull out something sa kanilang sleeves at ito yung yung diversion tactics na hinahanap nila. For the side of Blacklist International, napaka-unusual nito Manjin ha, yung Jawhead pinili nung second phase na.
Yep, Jawhead na nakalusot with the Matilda. Nako, sabi ng Blacklist dito, Gera na naman this. Susugod tayo ng susugod at hindi na natin nahayaan ang Execration na makapag-farm. If this is indeed a Benedetta jungle, nabanggit natin kanina, Batters, kailangan ng hold dito ng Blacklist. And sino pa ba ang merong insta-lock na target ng ultimate kundi ang Jawhead?
Your team
And Angela plus a Tigreal. So this means tama nga yung haka-haka natin kanina, Manjin. This is going to be KLVJ Benedetta at side lane Kelra ang gagamit ng backsya. Blacklist International, X-Borg.
X-Borg. Side lane, kailangan nila ng burst. So nung nakita nila yung Angela, nakita nila yung Tigreal, makunat. Haharap to. Sabi nila, burst natin. Pasabugin natin yung muka. Which is pwede. Actually, that's interesting because an X-Borg can hold down itong side ng Exe dahil actually yung Exe, wala din silang push capability dito, Batters.
Oo, and
ang hirap mag-push nito ha. Actually, tinitingnan ko kagad yung late game kasi X-Board is known to hold the lanes dahil dito sa kanyang fire stakes eh. So ngayon, mahihirapan umintrada yung Exe. Kailangan magka-item ng Exe para ma-pull off nila yung burst damage na gusto nila.
Tsaka maintindihan mo din kung bakit kumuha ng X-Borg dito yung side ng Blacklist International. Katulad na sinabi mo, in terms of defending, in terms of wave clear, wala sila masyado on that department.
Yeah.
So kailangan mo talaga tumutok dun sa wave clear. And what better wave clear na nandun para sa isang side lane than an X-Borg na kaya din na mag-deal ng significant amount of damage doon sa mga heroes na nasa side ng Execration.
Interesting. I think this is the first time na makikita natin yung X-Borg and I think ito, pumasok yung sinabi ni Wolf that Blacklist International, they understand their draft and they understand kung anong kulang. Meron na silang late game damage, early game damage, meron na silang hold. Ang kulang na lang nila dito yung insta-burst na pwedeng mabigay dito ni Edward. Remember, nauso yung X-Board nung nagkaroon din ng mga healing heroes for the burst damage na pwede nitong maibigay. Let's see kung paano to maka-counter back ng Exe. Oh my glove. This is Blacklist again breaking the code, pare, sa draft.
Blacklist International, they don't care kung ano yung meta ng iba. Basta meron silang draft na gagawin nila and kung makikita nila na fit yun ang kukunin nila. Well, for the side of Execration natin, for the side of Execration naman dito, Manjin, hindi naman natin dinidiscount yung draft nila dito. There is a point in time na itong draft na to, kapag nakuha nila yung magandang early game, this might end early kung sila yung maunguna bandang early game pa lang.
Yeah, kasi yung lineup nila dito I think is heavily relying ngayon kay setup mula kay Chakno and yung snowball na magbumula kay KLBJ. I think this is a great Angela game kung wala yung X-Borg. Kaso na-determine ng Blacklist eh. Protekta kayo. Sige.
Sige.
Bibigyan namin kayo ng apoy, bibigyan namin kayo ng damage. Ngayon ang kailangan ng Blacklist, i-utilize nila na alam dapat nila at level 4, pwedeng lamang sila. So kailangan nila maging aggressive dito, just like game number 1. Exe, kailangan nilang maging chill. Kailangan nila ng patience. They need items muna dito, Batters.
Blacklist International dito, talagang umiikot lang sila sa may mapa. At kung papansinin mo yung pwestuhan nila dito, stable na side lane tong Xborg so hindi mo kailangan masyado tutukan. Pero si Etomax dito, nagiging target ng may Venus at alam niya, nagkakaroon siya ng advantage in terms of poking.
Yeah, it's all about the pokes right now. If you are Exe, kailangan nila ma-utilize to. Pero actually, parang mas lamang nga ang poke ng Blacklist pala, Butters, because this is a Matilda. May vision ka mula dito sa Yishun Shin. Alam mo kung saan manggagaling dito yung Angela. And by the looks of it, in the laning stage, mukhang sa side lanes, kontrolado na naman ang Blacklist. Kasi lamang yung Blacklist dito ng kaunting gold, 100. Ibig sabihin yan, pag yan, nauuna kayo sa wave clear eh. Pag ganyan yung lamang nyo.
Pero ang ganda na pwesto ni Chakno dito Pwede niyang tulatin dito si Wise at matulak niya palayo. But still, Blacklist International dito, may advantage sila in terms of getting the vision dahil nga meron sila Mountain Shocker.
Yeah, pero sabi ni Wise, yung blue ay purple, yung uunahin niya.
And that is going to be Execration getting the turtle. May away na nangyayari dito. Edward na knock-up siya. Wala siyang Piraga armor pero nandun yung flicker. A 3-man stun para dito kay Venus. Pero Blacklist International Execration, ayaw nila maglaban. Alam nilang wala silang resources, magbaback off sila.
Wow, okay, libreng Lord para dito sa Exe. Turtle. Nag-decide yung Blacklist dito na mag-go na lang sa purple nila kasi I think nakita nila na nauna na sa advantage si Chakno pagdating doon sa bush take. So with that, sabi dito ng Exe, teka lang may damage sila, nabanggit natin, pero wala pa sa ngayon. Kaya pa nating i-withstand yung maipopoke nila sa atin.
Tama ka doon, Manjin Patience is key para kay Chakno. Nandun lang siya, kumuha lang siya ng vision. Alam niyang may mask naman ako. Hindi ko kailangan magstay ng lane. Mag-a-act ako dito as a ward. Titignan ko kung sino yung lalapit.
Yeah, pero ang daming na-utilize din ng Exe on that specific fight 3 flickers ang na-burn para sa kanila doon. I think Blacklist, they were safe that time. Hinihintay nila munang mag-online si Oheb at si Edward dito bago sila sumugod. Poke lang ang ginawa ng Blacklist. So still, 50-50 matchup. Exe, paano nila may utilize to na lamang na si KLBJ ng bahagya? Kasi again, yung turtle na yan, pwedeng mag-snowball. Yun yung key ngayon ng Exe, mag-snowball tong Benedetta.
Tingnan natin dito, Renjo going in. Angela dito, tumalalay na, KLBJ will get the kill on Edward and this might be the first push na gagawin ng Execration habang dito yung Blacklist International naman nag-cut na sila ng wave kasi alam nila may possible trade ng turret sa mangyayari.
Meron talaga and I think Exe, they know that pwede na silang kumuha ng gold plating dito sa baba. Pero mukhang hayaan muna nila dahil mas pinaprioritize nila yung mid. At eto na, nabanggit na natin, hindi ito nagawa ni KLBJ kanina. This is the main plan of Exe. Ganito nila naiintindihan yung draft nila na bigyan ng space si Kiel and let Kiel do the plays. Let Kiel be your damage output. Ngayon, Blacklist naiintindihan nila kaya sama-sama na sila dito, Butters.
At eto na naman ang away mga kaibigan. Last Insanity na ba to? And look at that! Ultimate mababato dito pero it's not enough. Sila pa ang tutumba. Oheb dito going for Etomax pero doon sa may likod may away pala nangyayari. KLBJ, sword and tent, left and right. Renjo dito gusto pa ng away. Will that will? May bubungguin ba siya dito? Wala na. And nakikita natin disiplina ng dalawang team.
Yeah, man. Hindi pa ganoon kasakit yung damage output ng Blacklist. Nakita natin na may 3 heroes na nakatayo sa harapan nila. Pero nakita naman din natin doon yung capability ng Blacklist pag dumating na sa late game. Nice maneuvers naman din doon para sa side ng Execration. It's still 50-50 para sa laban na to, Butters. Ang tanong, sino ang nakakalamang sa gold? Sino pinakamayaman? This time yung mga side laners natin. That is Oheb and Kelra na late dumating sa laban kanina. Napakagandang entrada ng alis na yon.
Pero nakikita mo dito, laging meron talagang pagsama-sama dito sa side ng Blacklist, dito sa may top lane. Even though nandun mag-spawn yung turtle, sa may baba, ang ginagawa nila dito is they're trying to pressure yung top lane as much as possible ngayon pa lang, para kahit papano, kapag ka lumabas yung turtle, mas maganda yung magiging positioning nila pag dumating yun.
Yeah. And I think this is a better game for the side of Exe. Una sa lahat, Etomax can easily escape with the ultimate sa mga gustong gawin ng Blacklist. And even Renjo, mas nadadalian siya ngayon ditong makawala at makamaneuver, makaresponde kagad. Parang ganito, ayan stun mo kagad, hayaan mong mag-burn yung Zaman Force, and then kapag sumugod pa si Oheb dito, nako, pwede siyang mawala. Yan na nga,
And Oheb dito,
Oh, my
siya yung
God.
magiging primary target. And look at this, Alecto final blow, hindi magiging worry yun para sa ng Blacklist International as yung response nila doon sa may rotation na yon is going to be fast and snappy.
Iba talaga, no? Smart choices mula dito sa Oheb. Na-foresee niya na nandoon ang Exe. And that was actually the right choice for KLBJ. Nakita mo pa nga yung kanyang final blow. Sobrang advanced nung nakita na yung Zaman Force. Unfortunately, buo yung Blacklist doon sa laban na yun.
And Execration, napakaganda ng pwesto nila dito pero Wise trying to go for that arrow. Ang ganda ng pwesto dito ni Kellera. And this might be the catch na hinahanap nila kanina pa.
Woo!
Flicker in. Wise goes down. Oh my Venus dito with the flicker and Alecto final blow. Edward dito with the last insanity. Hindi ganun kalakas yung damage na malalabas niya. Execration dito, cool, calm, and collected. Hindi magdadive.
Hindi talaga. The Tigreal, the Alice, and the Baksha combination. Nabanggit natin na kailangan ng burst ng Blacklist at hindi pa yun nag-i-exist. To the point na si Renjo, si Chakno, and everyone else ay tumatangki na lang para sa side ng Exe Butters. And yes, naprotektahan na nila si Kiel. Hindi na ngayon makapagpatumba ang Blacklist. Nabibitin na yung damage.
Oh my Venus dito, pumasok siya sa may loob. Na-stun niya yung 4, pero he will pay the price. Eto Max dito with the TPs. And that is going to be Baksha going down din sa kamay ni Wise.
Okay, I think that's still Execration winning that team fight. Medyo naging confident lang sila on those TPs na to the point na hindi na nila nakita na may paparating pa rin na turtle ship para kay Wise dito. So free kill kay Wise, pero nakikita na natin dito yung lineup batters. Ito sana yung gustong gawin ng Exe kanina eh. 4 protect 1. Diba? Sumusugod ngayon yung Blacklist, pero yung sustain na meron yung Exe, hindi makalapit kay KLBJ. Kanina, sa ganitong sitwasyon, 2 deaths na si Kiel. Ngayon, Kiel can move around. Ngayon, kailangan ng dito matitest kung gaano kalakas ang mechanical prowess din ng Blacklist. Kung kaya nilang lumaban ng matagalan.
Oo. And kung napapansin mo, Manjin, ang story na naman dito is Execration. Ang ganda ng mga fights na nakukuha nila. Actually, tatansya nila. Pero, nalalamangan sila dito ng Blacklist International pagdating sa turrets. And Renjo dito, siya magiging alay. Wala siyang matatakbuhan dito and this might be another pick-off para sa itong Blacklist.
Yun nga, Batters, nabanggit natin kanina eh. Yes, Exe, they can go for team fights. Pero yung defensive movements pagdating sa tower, yung spam, nalulugi sila dito dahil dito kay Xborg. And probably dahil din sa Matilda at sa Harit na kayang spam yung minions. Wala kasing natural pusher para dito sa side ng Exe. So ngayon, ang way ng Exe to get this game is to go for wipeouts, go for 4 deaths ng side ng Blacklist, and then push. Dahil kung hindi, aabot yung game sa dulo kung saan tatabla lahat, kung saan magkaka-item yung Blacklist.
And honestly, ang pinakamaganda lang na pang-clear wave dito na Execration is si Kellera lang on that Alice.
Yeah.
Yung Blood O lang, yung talagang mismong wave clear na snappy ang pagtanggal. Pero Chakno dito will get punished. Look at that stun. Enough na yung damage nila dito. Eson going in.
Ooh.
And that is a good ultimate, good implosion. Pero hindi pa rin yun magiging enough. Tutumba pa rin siya. KLBJ dito trying to go in. Sword intent. Tinamaan niya yung 3, pero yung damage output hindi talaga ganun ka-solid.
Okay, great patience mula dito sa Blacklist. And eto na, ginagamit na nila si Kellera, Butters, para lang madepensahan itong mid tower. But again, this is a Harit. This is a Yishun Shin. Nakaya kagad bumasag ng tower. Ayun na yung mission sa Blacklist. Kailangan nila mag-back, ha?
And Wise dito will be the primary target para kay KLBJ. Perfect targeting para dito sa side ng Execration. Oh my Venus, Eson, Oheb, they're trying to run away. Oh my Venus dito with the circling eagle. Makakatakas ba siya? Hindi niya magagawa. And that is going to be 2 kills para sa side ng Execration. Blacklist International though, 2 turret ang napunta sa kanila.
Men, ang gandang punishment ng Execration after nilang nakita yung Zaman Force na ginamit ni Oheb. They know na wala nang pang-counter go ang Blacklist. And ngayon kailangan nilang ituloy-tuloy kung saan deads si Venus at deads si Wise. Ito na yung opportunity nila mag-push, Butters.
Pero eto na din yung opportunity ng Blacklist International na makabawi. Zaman Force masyadong maaga na gamit, so hindi talaga makakahabol si Oheb. Pero still, the fact remains na protektahan nila yung torre nila sa taas.
At yung mid pwede rin parang ganito. Oh no! Late yung response dito ng Exe to push. Hindi naging enough yung death timers dito ng Blacklist. Makikita mo dito yung yung capability ng dalawang teams kung alam nila kung kailan papasok Parang ganyan, Butters.
And look at the dive, ladies and gentlemen. Nahuli din nila dito si Angela. Eto, Max dito is out of commission. Wala silang retribution. Wala din silang support. So, ibig sabihin yan, Blacklist International, pwede sila makakuha ng isang libreng Lord dito.
Butters, kung ang lineup mo talagang objective-based, hindi lang towers ang pinag-uusapan natin pati yung Lord, that passive on the Harit, the crits, weapon mastery, mula dito kay Yishun Shin. Look at that, ang bilis na wala nun Lord level 1 at napunta pa sa Blacklist yung space na ginagawa ng Exe. Ang kailangan lang ng Blacklist dito maging careful Careful on their cooldowns. Every time na wala yung Zaman Force, pwede kasing sumugod yung Exe. And again, Exe can pull it off. Exe can kill. Ang problema talaga dito, patience Paunahan to, Butters. Pahintayan ng cooldowns.
Wise on the other hand, focusing on damage items, Blade of Despair, Endless Battle. While si KLVJ dito, ang kinuha niya, Bloodlust Axe, tsaka Athena Shield. Medyo depends on the defensive side to Pero Wise, getting caught out, and look at that, the dash to my Venus. Mabubuhay pa si Wise dito? Yes, we will live. Pero Eson naman, mga kaibigan, makakatakas din. Pero Oheb dito, nag-turn ang buong koponan ng Execration papunta sa kanya. Iniikot-ikutan sila dito, and Eson trying to bail Oheb out. At sila pa ata ang nalagay sa alanganin. Jack na dito, mapapa-flicker. Oh my Venus is in the area. Pwede niya talaga i-take down. Jacknu will get punished.
The Lord was marching towards the bottom side. Kaya naligaw ang Execration doon. Nakita natin yung movement Execration, 5-5 magkakasama, naghiwalay-hiwalay yung Blacklist and wala silang makatch. Ang only catch lang na meron sila dito ay single target. And again, yung second skill ng Alice, madaling maiwasan lalo na kung may traceless ka. So with that, Blacklist, niligaw ang Exe sa laban na to, Butters!
Niligaw na niligaw. Kelra dito with the last stand. Kelra will get the kill on Oh My Venus, pero will that be enough? Kakayanin niya ba i-withstand yung damage dito na side ng Blacklist International? Yes, kakayanin niya. Next question, kaya ba nila i-defend to? Kelra going in, Edward dito with a sliver HP. And Kelra going in and out, trying to save this game. Eson, nandun na mga kaibigan sa may base. They're trying to take them down. Tinkeril will go down as well. And that is going to be the win for the side of Blacklist International. Pero lumalaban pa rin si Renjo. Tingnan natin kung ma-save niya to. And that is going to be 2-0 for Blacklist International, ladies and gentlemen.
You can't cancel the Queen. Blacklist International breaking the code once again. 2-0. Outstanding draft, outstanding maneuvers, and understanding of their game. That adjustment on the X-board, alam nila na mauuna sila sa Lord. Ginawa nila lahat yun.
Ginawa nila lahat yun, and this winning moment is brought to you by Head and Shoulders. Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward itch and GG moments. Thanks to Head and Shoulders, 100% dandruff-free and itch-free. Now, mas mabango pa.
Definitely, Butters. I think Execration that time, masyado silang nag-overthink sa draft nila and hindi nag-work. Right now, Blacklist International getting the best score as of the moment sa MPL Season 7. I think they're at 5 points na yung meron sila ngayon dito. And wow, Butters, I think mag-agree ka sa akin dito. It's a battle of the draft kanina, pero in terms of execution, gets din ng Exe na malulugi sila. Kailangan nila pitas Kailangan nila 4 na mawala. Kailangan nila 3 mawala. Pero yun, may ticking time bomb sila sa pag-push. And hindi nila yun nagawa.
I think for Execration, nandun pa rin yung lakas
Oo.
But nalalagay sila sa mga pwesto na hindi talaga sila nagkakaroon ng mid-game to late-game presence.
Yeah.
Maganda yung pinakita ni KLVJ, but still, the fact remains, hanggang kailan kakayanin ng isang Benedetta na talagang mag-set up para sa kanyang team in terms of damage kung Bloodlust Axe at Athena Shield yung gagawin niya. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's throw it to our resident analyst, Wolf, para sa kanyang thoughts.
Thank you so much, casters. Etong game na to, this game shows us na mukhang kulang pa rin talaga ang mga bans para iban ang Queen Venus. And well, this one's gonna be breaking down game number 2 and this series overall. And the following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Now, why did I say na mukhang kulang yung bans laban sa Blacklist International dahil kay My Venus? Dahil nakuha pa rin ng Blacklist International ang kanilang comfort picks. This might be the biggest problem I have with Execration. Hindi lang nangyari to sa MPL, pero pati na rin sa mga tournaments outside ng MPL. Ginagamit nila ang lahat ng bans nila para mapigilan ang hero pool ni Oh My Venus, but they end up just not getting the heroes that they wanted. Ang ganda actually nung first week dito ng Execration, kumuha agad sila ng Baxia, which kind of answers yung Matilda dahil sa anti-sustain, tapos pwede pa nilang piliin yung Alice afterwards. Pero yung weird para sa akin is yung ibang heroes na nakuha ng Execration ay hindi na ganun kalakas. Well, kasi naman yung Blacklist International, nakuha nila yung comfort picks nila. Ito yung Yi Sun-shin, the Wise SS na sinasabi nga natin, at syempre, Harith ni Oheb. They're so comfortable with this, pati na rin yung mismong Johead na na-pick sa second phase. Imagine that. Kasi nga naman, yung Execration, pati na rin yung Blacklist, well, more particularly on Execration, nagpo-focus sila sa mga targeted bans against Blacklist International, which means na hindi nila napapansin yung mga value heroes, like the Johead for example. Imagine kung ang Execration nakakuha ng Johead agad, well, hindi ganun kahirap yung draft para sa kanila. The following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. At hindi lang yan, napansin ko sa itemization ng Blacklist International ay kinailangan nilang i-contrain yung sustain ng Execration in the mid-game. This is very smart of them. Kasi ginawa nila ay hinintay nila na binigyan nila kumbaga ng timing para sa objectives ang Execration, pero pinunish nila in the end. What I like about this, keywords by the way, peeling and baiting para sa side ng Blacklist International. At ang peeling, basically is yung ginagamit nila yung mga skills nila para paghiwa-hiwalayin or paghimahimayin yung lineup dito or yung composition ng Execration para pumabor sa kanila yung laban. At ginawa nila yon by baiting Execration. Weird enough yung Execration, ang galing ng juggling nila at the start, but in the mid-game, kung saan nag-matter na, dun na sila nayari. We will see that in the highlights for sure. And these game highlights are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Now, early game skirmishes, papabor yan sa side ng Execration. Lalong-lalo na sa mga turtle takes. Ang ganda ng kanilang pag-juggle nga around the lineup of Blacklist International. And then, this is when Blacklist International decided, okay, pwede kasing maghintay muna tayo ng ating mga timings, which is around the start of the late game. Sabihin na natin yung first lord timing, dun talaga lalakas ang side ng Blacklist International. Kasi magkaaroon na ng farm si Oheb. Si Edward, hindi na siya pwedeng hindi pansinin dahil bangkatin na yung kanyang last insanity. And obviously, you have Wise. At hindi ganun kadali yung kanilang way para makuha to. They had to really survive the mid-game. At they had to also bait. Katulad nito, ginamit nila yung 4 nilang heroes to take the Renzio kasi alam nila, yun yung main problem nila. Without Renzio, the anti-heal coming out from Execration ay malakas at komportable na ang side ng Blacklist International when it comes to the team fights. Then, mangyayari mga konting mga pag-bait nila. Out of position na ngayon yung ilang members ng Execration. Eventually, they will lose some portions of the map because of this. By the way, Oh My Venus, doing a great job. Really just making it work para dun sa Wise. This clash, specific clash, before mangyari to, nagpahabol ang mga members ng Blacklist International, particularly si Wise. Tapos ginamit yung second seal ni Matilda para maligtas ni Oh My Venus si Wise. The V-Wise tandem and connection saving each other. Kelra doing his best. Ginagawa na niya lahat para lang makapagdepensa dito, even Renzio. But we know, dahil buhay pa si Wise, obviously meron silang damage din sa mga tore. Wise also did a great job, by the way, in this particular game, only dying twice. Kahit pa ito sa mga first pick heroes, and also dealing 69,000 damage overall. Pati na rin yung objective damage, 10k and 77% kill participation. The MVP of the game was brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. In this particular game, etong si Wise, ang ganda nung kanyang pagkakapwesto. Hindi lang yan, he also positioned himself around his team. Hindi ito solo show. Even when he's the MVP, naging crucial din yung pagtulong sa kanya ng mga teammates. Like, peeling ni Eson with this Joehead, Matilda being aggressive in the early stages at pagligtas dun sa late stages. Samantala, pagkuha ng farm naman ni Oheb, it all made sense in the end. Ito po yung dahilan kung bakit naka 2-0 ang Blacklist International over Execration. That has been my analysis of this 2-game series. My name is Wolf, and I'm gonna be throwing it back to the casters.
Maraming salamat, Wolf, for the analysis. And tama si Wolf doon. Ang daming maliliit na bagay na nakita dito yung Blacklist International at nagamit nila yon sa kanilang advantage.
Definitely, man. I think Blacklist International is one tough team to beat. Especially dito sa ating liga. And pinatunayan na nila yon. Tahimik lang sila sa radar ng mga tao nung off-season. Sali lang ng tournaments at pinatunayan nila that they can definitely break codes ngayong season. Ngayon, man, this is the same thing that happened sa Blacklist International nung Season 5 and Season 6. Ma-break na kaya nila yung curse na yon.
Tignan natin, with the addition of V-Wise and Oheb, talagang sobrang nagiging ganda ng takbo dito ng side ng Blacklist International. For the side naman ng Execration dito, they just need to go back to the drawing board. Maaga pa yung season.
Yeah, maaga pa talaga yung season. And exciting games, exciting matchup din.
And syempre, MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, 3 games for all. And alam mo, Manjin, ang dami pa natin pwede sabihin dito, pero looking at it, meron pa tayong next game. So ang gagawin natin is ipapasa na natin sa ating panelist or isang break muna pala, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to be very interesting. We will see you.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life. Simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one path. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? We've been kicking up the dust, you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Moment na sana, pero hassle ang kate. Yung kati na yan, dahil sa dandruff yan. You need Head & Shoulders. Unlike beauty shampoos, tanggal ang dandruff that causes kate. No more hassle sa moment. Goodbye na sa kate dahil 100% dandruff-free ka.
Sikreto ng mga gwapong Master Gamer? Para fresh all day, bring your clay game with Master. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Fights germs, controls oil up to 12 hours, and helps prevent pimples. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Sikreto ng mga gwapo.
Hi everyone! This is Catherine Bernardo.
At ako naman po si Daniel Padilla. Guys, may PayMaya na ba kayo?
Kung wala pa, dapat mag-download na kayo sa Google Play or App Store dahil ito na ang usong pangbayad ngayon.
Ang PayMaya is isang mobile payment app using only your cell phone, and you can pay practically anything, kahit online transactions pa yan.
With PayMaya, hindi mo na kailangan magdala ng cash for your day-to-day expenses. Pwede kang magbayad ng bills, bumili ng prepaid load, mag-online shopping, mag-send money, magbayad gamit ng QR code, at marami pang iba.
Pero ang the best part dito ay may balik-bayad ka pa.
Each time you use PayMaya, may balik sa'yo na cashback at rewards, kaya sulit ang oras mo dahil hindi mo na kailangan pumila, and you can just pay using your app anytime, anywhere.
Kaya guys, huwag kakalimutan, pag may babayaran ka,
Don't pay cash, pay Maya.
Express your online business.
When you look inside a JanSport backpack, you see a story that started in 1967. And since then, our mission has expanded to helping protect our environment for future generations to enjoy. It's a work in progress, but just this season we've used the equivalent of 13 million bottles worth of recycled polyester in our most popular backpacks. When you look inside a JanSport pack, you see our commitment to this brilliant blue planet we call home. And we're just getting started.
Ready, go!
Demons shall bathe in their blood.
Healing prayers for you. I am the moonlight that breaks through the darkness.
I am Karamet.
Welcome back, Anna.
Immortality! The strongest ninja.
The universe is but a lie.
Your fate is in my hands.
New legend!
What do you do when what you desire is beyond reach?
You use power that breaks barriers. The Giga Life.
Now in 5G.
Do you believe this is possible?
I do.
How do you know?
Simple, smart, acro.
Inevitable. Hey guys, I'm here with Kate and Bea.
Bad timing ang kate. Baka dandruff yan? Use Head and Shoulders every day. Unlike beauty shampoos, tanggal ang dandruff that causes kate. Para di pa balik-balik, kati gone for good na. Dahil 100% dandruff-free ka.
Hi guys, I'm here with Kate.
Para araw-araw, close na close. Max pinabango pa.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life. Simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one path. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart, ako.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Moment na sana, pero hassle ang kate. Yung kati na yan, dahil sa dandruff yan. You need Head and Shoulders. Unlike beauty shampoos, tanggal ang dandruff that causes kate. No more hassle sa moment. Goodbye na sa kate dahil 100% dandruff-free ka.
Sikreto ng mga gwapong Master Gamer? Para fresh all day, bring your clay game with Master. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Fights germs, controls oil up to 12 hours, and helps prevent pimples. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Sekreto ng mga gwapo.
Hi everyone! This is Catherine Bernardo.
At ako naman po si Daniel Padilla. Guys, may PayMaya na ba kayo?
Kung wala pa, dapat mag-download na kayo sa Google Play or App Store dahil ito na ang usong pangbayad ngayon.
Ang PayMaya is isang mobile payment app using only your cell phone and you can pay practically anything, kahit online transactions pa yan.
With PayMaya, hindi mo na kailangan magdala ng cash for your day-to-day expenses. Pwede kang magbayad ng bills, bumili ng prepaid load, mag-online shopping, mag-send money, magbayad gamit ng QR code at marami pang iba.
Pero ang the best part dito ay may balikbayad ka pa.
Each time you use PayMaya, may balik sa'yo na cashback at rewards, kaya sulit ang oras mo dahil hindi mo na kailangan pumila and you can just pay using your app anytime, anywhere.
Kaya guys, huwag kakalimutan, pag may babayaran ka, don't pay cash, pay Maya.
Express your online business. Express your online business.
When you look inside a JanSport backpack, you see a story that started in 1967.
Nakatuto kayo sa ika-4 na araw ng MPL Philippines Season 7, presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Eto na, mga ka-ML, alam ko excited kayong manalo ng mga in-game prizes. Nung nakaraang linggo, 87,000 ang sumali sa ating mythical raffle draw at pwede nyo ring subukan ang inyong galing pagdating sa mga quizzes na ibibigay sa inyo ng MPL. Kailangan nang gawin is-scan ang QR code na nasa screen nyo. Mapupunta kayo sa isa pang page para masagot ang mga katanungan doon at kapag kayo ay nanalo, congratulations! Meron kayong mga in-game prizes. Hindi lang yan, pwede nyo subukan ang inyong swerte dito sa Lucky Number Draw. So, sana naalala nyo yung last 2 digits ng Mobile Legends ID number nyo. Kung ang last 2 digits doon, ang ending 07, 22, 32, 54, 59, 77, 87, 88, or 95, maaari kayong manalo ng mga diamantes, diamonds, skins, elite, or epic. 3,000 ang makakakuha ng ating mga prizes para dyan. So good luck sa inyong lahat. Once again, MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. Get 1 gig a day for Mobile Legends, Facebook Gaming, and more, plus free 1 gig a day for 7 days. Just dial *123# or download the GigaLife app and choose free games. Now, to further inspire everyone to act for the environment, the Worldwide Fund and Nature Philippines is holding a social media party entitled EH Flicks 2021, streaming on their official Facebook page on March 27. The live stream will feature ways Filipinos can practice sustainable living from the safety of their homes by switching off from our unsustainable lifestyle and practicing simple but impactful eco-friendly switches in our daily lives. We're already speaking up for nature. WWF Philippines is the official advocacy partner of the MPL Philippines Season 7 Victory for Nature. Together, it's possible. Victory! Ngayon naman, ang mga laban natin ngayong araw na to. Nexplay Esports kontra Omega Esports. Sasamahan tayo ngayon ng dalawang shoutcaster na talagang mapapa-roar ka sa kanila. Leo and Reptar, how are you both doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Nice to be back at the panelist couch with you, Mara and Reptar, yeah?
We saw a really great first series, and I'm excited to see this one because it's a proving game for both of these two teams. Omega to prove that, you know what, we're actually ready right now for the MPL. They didn't have the result that they wanted last week, and for Nexplay, rather, it's more of like, you know what, last week, hindi yun fluke. Deserve namin talaga yun.
At ang Nexplay nga, gusto nilang patunayan ng kanilang galing this time. Nais nilang talunan ng isa pang koponan na tumapak sa world stage. Yan ang Omega Esports. Kailangan patunayan ng Omega kung paano nga ba sila napunta sa world stage. Panoorin natin ang Omega at kilalanin natin ang kanilang mga manlalaro. Smart Omega. Silipin natin ang lineup for today. Nandyan si Hayes, GC, Heath, Curtizi, and Toshi.
Technically, buwan ko nakasama tong team na to sa Singapore when we went to M2. And I gotta say two things about this team. Two things. One, ang ganda ng social media presence nila ngayon. Sila nagsimula nung Bessie Wars, right? And then number two is nagtataka talaga ako doon sa M2 debuff na pag-uusapan natin mamaya-maya. I don't know why when they came back, they seem to have to struggle to find their footing again. I don't know, Reptar, do you agree? Meron nga ba talagang M2 debuff?
Siguro hindi naman debuff, but then if you really look at it, I can tell kung bakit naisip natin na may debuff ang M2 because the teams that came from there are underperforming now. Now, I'm sorry, it's the facts. Bren and Omega they're both underperforming.
Ngayon, ang kakalabanin ng Omega, maingay sa social media. They can talk the talk and walk the walk. Ang Nexplay Esports, kilalanin natin ang kanilang mga manlalaro. Nexplay Esports, Exort, H2O, James, Renegade at Yawi. Maingay sa social media but they prove na kaya nilang i-backup kung ano nga ba yung mga sinasabi nila.
I love that Exort's gonna be playing in this first game. I mean, of this first five, nandyan siya. So nung first time ko makita yung pag ganun niya, yung parang yung come here, that just caught me off guard. But again, I really love how he debuted in their matchup against Blacklist Esports. Napakasakit ng mid-support niya. And I think he really showed and shined as that Eve.
And as Omega, this is a good call for Nexplay na si Exort ang maglalaro dito. Not to discredit Lancy, yeah, but the experience na meron si Exort dito is gonna shine here in terms of the shot calling and how they're gonna rotate against a team that really knows how to micromanage lanes, which is Omega.
And Nexplay and Omega going head-to-head today. And this head-to-head is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999 pesos. Nexplay kontra Omega. Itong Nexplay, talagang maraming gustong patunayan. They are keeping up and staying ahead. Etong Nexplay, they're staying ahead out of everybody dahil sila ngayon ang leader ng Group B with 4 points. Eto namang Omega, kailangan pa nilang manalo. Ano nga ba yung mga nangyayari sa Omega ngayon at anong kailangan nilang adjustments para masigurado na hindi sila coming with a 2 losing streak?
They've only played so far 1 match in the MPL in Season 7, and that was when one of their matches, nag-all-in magic strategy sila. And I don't know how that feels. I don't know, as an opponent, para ating na shield lang, di ba? Buuan mo ng Oracle. And I think that's where they have to keep up. That's the technical side, di ba? Para kailangan nila humabol. Reptar, how do you feel about keeping up versus staying ahead? Parang yung Nexplay talagang best form nila to so far, in the longest time.
Yeah, Nexplay, dare I say, this is the first time, and I can't believe I'm saying this, na sila ang pabor dito going into this match na laban ng Omega. If this was Season 6, masasabi natin, ay, lamang dito Omega, but now, no, it's Nexplay who are leading here. And as we look at the stats, a 3.0 KDA against a 2.5 of Nexplay. A bit of growth there kasi mas nakikita natin na Nexplay, they know how to handle the objectives much better. Hindi lang sila yung maghahanap kami ng laban, laban kong laban. Nakita natin nung sa laban nila against Blacklist Esports, especially with Exort on the field, they learned how to prioritize managing the waves really well, beating Bren out of the objective fights. We need to see more of that today now that they're up against Omega Esports, who I said earlier are great with managing the lanes, but it seems like yung kulang naman nila is yung kate na maglaban for the objectives. They contest it, but there's still, the problem for Omega is masyadong silang careful right now.
NXP, mataas ang kumpiyansa pagpasok dito sa ika-4 na araw para sa ating MPL. Ang Omega naman, motivated to get their first win, but who will be head and shoulders above the competition? Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward #HGG moment. Thanks to Head and Shoulders, 100% dandruff and itch-free. Now, mas mabango pa. Meron tayong mga key players dito na maganda ang ipinakita. Umpisahan natin dito sa Omega. Nandiyan si GC, si Kurtzy, at si Heath. Ang ganda ng ipinakita nila nung last game. Sila ang mga leading sa kanilang koponan ng Omega.
Yeah, by the numbers at least, right? This is the Machine, of course, and pound for pound, arguably one of the best mechanically gifted players, si Kurtzy, and of course, si Heath, si Mr. Fundamentals. I was actually expecting this to be Triple H. Si Hayes, sana yata yung isang kasama dito. But I think based on their first series, 1 series lang naman, I think Hayes is still finding his footing.
Yeah, and si Kurtzy yung nag-overperform right now dito for Omega, and you could contest him to be, or argue for him to be the best player right now for this team. And yeah, he is keeping ahead, pero the rest of his team need to catch up right now to Kurtzy.
Sa panig naman ng Nexplay, nandyan si James, Exort at Yahweh. Itong si James, talagang ginagawa niya yung tamang role. Every time, flawless. Si Exort last time, nag-eve siya the entire time. Kontrolado yung team fight. Hinahati niya yung pag-position ng kanilang team fight.
Yep, and of course, Yahweh, I don't want to be on the receiving end of whatever this young man is bringing, alright? Sobrang reliable na tank ni Yahweh ngayon. Even if they did lose 1 series last weekend against LPE. And of course, si Exort, sobrang ganda tignan ng stats ni Exort. Isang hero lang. Tapos ang ganda pa ng numbers, right? So, I think going into this matchup, Omega has to consider, nalalaro si Exort, isipin natin, gagamitin ba natin Eve? Tatanggalin ba natin? Nanakawin ba natin?
Yeah, and hopefully Nexplay has other things prepared for Exort na para magamit niya. And James is someone that we also have to highlight here along with Yahweh, because they're doing a really great job of disrupting the backlines of anyone that they fight here. Look back into the match against Blacklist Esports. Si James yung lagi naghahanap doon kay Kurtzy. Siya yung lagi naghahanap dito kay Few. So if we see more of that here, baka masurpresa na naman dito si Hayes especially, si Hajizi, and of course, the entirety of Omega.
May mga featured player tayo dito talagang sinosopresa ang lahat. And these featured players will do all they can para hindi mag-GG. Bring your clay game with Master. Ang sikreto ng mga guwapo, meron tayong mga players na ikukumpara natin dito side by side. Walang iba kundi si Yahweh at si Heath.
Yung pinakamalupit mag-Renegade dance laban kay Mr. Fundamentals, na maganda ang shoe game. These are some out of game facts, by the way. But real quick, looking at these 2 players, same sila ng KDA. Mas magaling lang mag-farm ng konti si Yahweh. But when it comes to kills and team fights, Heath is there. I think there's still a lot more these two players can show off. Lalo na't si Yawi, mas bata sa MPL, and he's been chasing this championship for so long now. I think they both have something to fight for.
Yeah, we've talked great lengths about NXP, pero for Omega naman, Heath is still Mr. Fundamental for that team. Hindi nawawala yun. But what we're seeing is, pag nakikita ng mga team si Heath, of course, Heath would love to position ahead para magbigay ng impormasyon para sa Omega kung nasa ng mga miyembro, especially the jungler of whoever they're facing. Lately, we've been seeing Heath get surprised with aggression, na biglang pag nakita siya, babatuhan siya lahat ng skills, babatuhan siya lahat ng abilities, and that's something that Heath has to watch out for here. We know he likes to position well, but Heath needs to decide, okay, kung meron ako nakita isa, baka kailangan ko muna mag-backup kasi baka biglang masurpresa ako at -1 kagad for Omega.
Tignan natin ang ating lane prediction ngayon.
Yep, and there's nothing too crazy here unless they pull something out, right? You have Renegade facing off against Toshi in the gold lane. Yung ating turtle lane, that's James versus Curtizi. I think if there's anything that might change, Reptar, I hope you back me up here. Baka mag-tank si Hayes dito. Yun lang yung nakikita kong parang baka pwedeng magbago.
Oh, potentially. Kasi may history naman si Hayes na gumamit ng tank. Of course, we saw him play a really amazing Basha in the past as well. So that could be the surprising thing here for Omega. And baka yun yung kulang sa kanila. That surprise factor that merong bago ngayon sa Omega.
One team wants to continue their path to greatness. Another team wants to go back to their winning ways. Sino sa kanila ang mananalo? Huwag na natin patagalin pa. Bakbakan na Omega Esports kontra Nexplay Esports. Samahan na natin ang ating anchors and analysts.
Can Omega stay ahead sa kanilang competition or can NXP keep up with the momentum na meron sila? MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart. Free games for all. Ako po pala si Manjin Faldas. Kasama ko this time si Midnight. Midnight, kumusta naman? The week 2 ng MPL. Game 2 tayo kagad.
Ako, excited ako kasi week 2 ng MPL, NXP versus Omega, and nakabalik ako dito sa casting desk. Sa wakas.
Sa wakas.
Finally.
And man, yung story nitong ng ating game right now is Omega again. Nung week 1, naging underwhelming ang performance nila. Pero this time, kalaban nila ay probably the Titan Slayers. Dahil na 2-0 nila this time yung co-M2 representative ng Omega, Nexplay defeating Bren yesterday. And ang tanong, malalaman natin yan lahat sa draft as who will make the smart choices in the draft. Catch it next, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco, partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Let's head on to the picks and bans of the game. And Midnight, I think may mga onting backstory ka sa atin para sa laban na to.
Oh yes, definitely this is gonna be the battle of tanks. Tama actually yung head-to-head matchup natin kanina. The most important factor for these two teams is to have the good tank setup. Nexplay Esports, they have Yawi that can play the Sylvana, he can play the Jarhead, he can play the Matilda, he can actually play the Paquito. Omega Esports, you need to remove that fundamentals from the team.
Kailangan no yung mga pang setup
Yes.
dito para sa side ng Omega on the side of Heat. Last time nakita natin dito yung mage lineup ng side ng Omega dito. Ano bang nasasabi nito sa lineup mo, Omega? Nag-experiment ba yung Omega dito, Midnight? Or talagang na-practice nila to, hindi lang nila na-execute ng tama?
I feel like it's mostly on the back end of things na parang pinapractice nila pero they forgot that there's some technical problems on the lineup. Nasabi nga nila yung kanina, isang Athena Shield lang at isang Oracle, tapos kagad yung composition nyo.
Pwede. So ngayon, magtuloy-tuloy ba yung curse right now for this team? Nabanggit mo dito yung mga tanks. Midnight, that is a Matilda being banned out. Yung si Leyna ay nirespeto na rin dito ng side ng Nexplay. Pero tama ka, Midnight. Look at this. Jawhead ban and Cho ban para sa side ng Omega. Clearly, ang tinatarget dito, isa sa mga heroes ni Yawi and si Renegade na din.
Yes, definitely. Both of the teams have the same idea. They just remove the tanks, the comfort tanks that they can pick, and baka magkaipitan tayo dito between Matilda and the Sylvana and the Paquito. So those are the two key heroes for both sides. Now, Omega Esports, they do have this slight advantage kasi yung dynamics ng tank and support nila. Again, pwede magpalit si Hayes and si Heath. And yung mga mages kasi minsan nagiging tank na rin. Like for example, si Matilda. Fortunately enough, walang Matilda for this game. So I think for Omega Esports, medyo maiipit sila pagdating sa first pick na Nexplay.
Yeah, I think na maganda na nabanggit mo yung mga mages dito. Omega also, they're the ones na unang pumili ng Valier dito sa season na to. Again, hindi naging successful for their squad.
Yes.
Pero yes, nag-agree ako sa'yo. Meron tayong mga siguro niche pick na pwede makita ngayon sa side ng Omega. What is the opening right now for Nexplay? You have the Benedetta online. Probably, pwede silang mag-focus ngayon sa hero probably ni Yawi since nabanggit mo nga yung mga tanks dito. Pero, segue muna ako, Midnight ha. Nerespeto na ng Omega yung Eve ni Exort.
Yes, definitely. Now, Nexplay, instead of flexing out the backshot on James na pwede na maging tank on Yawi, they picked up what they used last week, the Benedetta tank, and that will be on the hands of Yawi. Ito yung flex nila. Alam nila na tank battle to, nagkatanggalan na, wala nang Matilda, walang Sylvana, walang Johet, and walang Cho. Let's flex the Benedetta out.
Pwede, no? One of the main reason kung ba't pinipili itong Benedetta na to dahil pwede mong i-tank, pwede mong i-jungle, pwede mo ring i-gold lane or in-XP lane. Ganoon siya kalakas. Tinapatan to ng Omega ng sustain type. Esmeralda probably still the strongest side lane pa rin. XP laner, I mean. Followed up with Apakito. Ano na naman ang ibig sabihin nito ngayon, Midnight, para sa side ng Omega? Kasi ang taas ng sustain nitong dalawang side lane na to, tinapatan kagad, kakasabi mo lang, back siya para dito kay James.
Actually, napaka-standard nung sagot ng Omega Esports. And it's almost predictable at the point na pinik nila yung Pakito. Pakito is really good against Benedetta. It's one of the few side laners that can actually outmatch the Benedetta. And ang nagpaganda rito sa pick ng Omega Esports is that you can flex it out as well. Pwede maging tank, pwede maging side lane. Of course, naturally, kukunin ng Omega Esports yung Esmeralda every single time that they can. But telegraph na yan ng Nexplay and they picked up the backshot. And medyo maganda sagot ng Omega Esports dito. No? They picked up the 1-1, setting up the possibility that this could be a... actually, hindi na side laner yung Pakito. No? Tank na yung Pakito, but this sets up the possibility na pwede magkaroon ng double marksman ang Omega Esports.
Which is actually capable sila. Remember, Toshi is also a player na nag-start out na pumasok ng pro scene bilang isang marksman.
Yes.
And ngayon, kung mapupunta sa kamay niya to, hindi pa natin alam kasi Toshi and Cortese, may part na nagsiswitch sila eh. May part na si Cortese ang minsan nagmamarksman dito. And yes, I like it na pinoint out mo. Magandang adjustment to para sa Omega. Para at least meron silang damage late game. And the 1-1 can actually deal with the Claude. Late game din. Na mapipersa yung Claude gumawa dito ng wind chant mechanic. Wind of Nature, na item.
Yes. Ngayon, ang question na lang dito is whether Omega Esports ban out the Harley or pick it themselves. I think for Omega, you could let go of the Harley kasi hindi naman masyado nag-Harley sa H2O. You'd probably want H2O to play the Claude. Pero the thing is, pwede rin i-flex na next play to. Pwedeng si Renegade yung mag-Claude dito kasi you still have the possibility of Benedetta playing the tank role and si James din yung pwede mag-back siya. So a lot of options still for next play. And for Omega Esports, ang concern mo lang dito is securing the jungle role for Hajizi.
Men, gusto ko na pinoint out mo dito yung Claude ni Renegade na pwedeng mag-side lane. Dahil knowing Nexplay, ayaw din nila ng mga Digi-strat. Ayaw din nila ng, hindi yung Digi-strat na suicidal, yung Digi na nanggugulo sa side lane. So mukhang itong Nexplay, mas pinofocus nila dito yung magiging gold laner nila para sa laban na to. And Midnight, napauka dito, it's back!
Yes!
Hajizi Ling is back! And man, na-miss natin to lahat.
Oo, alam mo iniisip ko nga, potentially pwede sila mag-link. We saw this with NXP's game and Execration's game. You can play the link against Claude and Baksha as inherently walang ginagawa tong dalawang to against the hero. But I would have thought na last pick sana yung Ling na Omega Esports. Kasi next play, you don't want to be picking Ling and Claude in the same lineup. Sobrang takaw niyan. So parang mas safe lang na pwede mong i-last pick sana yung Ling for Omega Esports just to make sure na walang potential counter in next play. But what does this tell me is that Omega Esports, they actually want to bait the last two picks of next play to be against the Ling para makapag-set up sila ng isa pang possible last pick.
Ang ganda ng statement na yun. Kumbaga sinabi ng Omega, teka lang, baka nakakalimutan nyo, may Ling kami. Ngayon mag-react kayo dito.
Yes!
Where is the catch right now sa Omega? You have an Alice and you have an Angela. So mukhang focus on side lanes talaga to. Sustain game for the side of Nexplay. Remember, naging maganda din, naging outstanding din yung Alice dito sa lineup nila. And this time, Exort is playing an Angela
Yes.
na mamproprotekta Midnight. Gaano ka-importante itong Angela pick ngayon?
Actually, ito yung magdidictate ng tempo ng Nexplay. If they get on a good start, they can actually snowball against Omega Esports. One problem is that they don't do anything against the Ling. Yes, pwede ka mag-snowball with the Angela, pwede mong magbigyan ng magandang oras si Claude dito, but there is an Esmeralda on the side of Omega Esports. So medyo questionable sa akin yung Angela pick na Nexplay dito, no? Kasi inherently countered ka kagad. Naturally countered ka ng lineup ng Omega Esports, and you didn't answer the Ling. Now, Omega Esports, they have essentially a +1 pick here, and they picked up a Kagura. This is the top tier support at the moment.
Tier mid.
Yes, it's good against Angela, it's good against Claude, and it's good against the Benedetta.
I think umabot lang tayo sa point siguro na next play, they know na wala silang Katchaling, pero asa sila dito sa talagang heavy damage output na pwedeng ma-provide and late game capability. This is a Claude, this is an Alice na pag umabot ng late game, hindi kailangan pumindot eh. Pipindot lang, ang pipindutin lang, ultimate, tapos maglalakad lang. So, ang ibig sabihin natin dito, yung damage output ng next play, sobrang outstanding. So ngayon, I think doon na lang sila nagbe-base kesa sa pag-catch ng Ling na to. I think it's still 50-50 pagdating sa draft natin. Nabanggit mo nga, execution, sa execution tayo aabot.
Definitely.
Snowball type para dito sa side ng Nexplay. Omega naman, kayang makipag 2-on-2, kayang makipag 1-on-1 ng lineup nila.
Yep, marami kasing approach ang pwedeng gawin ng Nexplay. You could either go for a superior team fight, which is what they did with the Alice, Angela, and Claude, or you can disrupt the Ling. Pero naipit sila sa 2 picks kasi nga nakita na nila yung Ling and alam nila may last pick pa ang Omega Esports that can answer the 2 picks that they have. So I think the safer route was to go for the team fight. And commendable din naman yung approach nila dito, the Angela and the Alice. Again, your primary concern is that you don't do anything against the Ling and you are inherently countered by the Esmeralda.
So ang tanong dito, can Omega activate once again the KDA machine? Na-miss nating lahat itong Ling ni Mr. Hajizi, but can Nexplay go all the way to the late game? And remember, this is one best pick para kay H2O. By the way, Midnight, before we start, nais ko lang sabihin that MPL Philippines Season 7 is under the supervision and the regulation of the Games and Amusement Board. So going back, look at this. Heat vintage movements para sa kanyang panggagamol dito sa purple buff.
Yes, actually, ang ganda, no? This is the understanding of Omega Esports. They know that the Angela has leveled up the first skill instead of the second skill. So wala masyadong panghabol kay Paquito. But Rene J joining the fight here makes a little space for the Claude to farm.
Yeah, actually, still maganda pa rin yung kuha doon ni H2O ng kanyang purple. And talagang I think dito papasok yung veteran movements ng Omega. They know na kapag ang Claude ang nag-jungle, importante sa kanya lahat ng buffs.
Yes,
kailangan mo siyang i-delay ng i-delay. And yun din yung target dito ng NXP. Nagkamali ako, actually, Midnight. Akala ko Claude marksman to. Akala ko Claude side lane to.
Jungle siya.
But we have a Benedetta side lane na mapupunta sa kay Rene J. Midnight, I think favorite mo to. Kumusta yung mga matchups natin? Kumusta yung mga matchups?
I think for Nexplay, you're very happy with the matchups. Medyo surprised din ako no, actually si Rene J naglalaro ng Benedetta and Yawi is actually playing the Baksha instead of the other way around. Pwede kasing si James yung Baksha, Rene J playing the Alice, then Yawi on the Benedetta. But the thing is, they are looking for specific matchups here. They want the Benedetta on the core role against the 1-1.
Definitely. Sabi dito ng OMG, kailangan natin kumalaw. And there you go, first blood for the KDA machine. At dito na ba natin nakikita na back to form na ang Omega dahil nakakamiss yung mga ganong movements nila, yung mga biglaan na lang may first blood.
I think it's too early to say, pero Omega Esports, they still have their mechanics down to their bones. Kasi nakita natin na zinone out lang ng Omega Esports and actually dealing a poke damage into the heroes of NXP. And the job of the Ling is to clean up. Yan lang ang trabaho ni Ling ng early game. Definitely. You don't fully commit without your ultimate. So ang gagawin ng kampi mo is poke, poke, poke. You have the Kagura, you have the Paquito. These two heroes can poke all day.
Midnight, speaking of poke, how important is this? Yes, Rene J getting the revenge kill on the top lane. That's nice. Kasi gold laner yon yung nawala. So pwedeng may mawalang wagon dito para kay Kurt. Pero gusto ko tanongin sa'yo, gaano ngayon ka-importante si Heat sa laban na to? I think siya yung nagsaserve talaga dito bilang scout. Sa OMG, this is vintage OMG.
Yes, this is the playstyle of Heat. He really doesn't clear waves. Ang ginagawa ni Heat sa isang game is nagpo-provide ng vision talaga.
Vision talaga para makagalaw. Sinaha JC dito at mukhang itutuloy-tuloy nila as they are now targeting the orange buff. Pasok na yun dito si Toshi. Ultimate para ka-chip dito pero wala pa siyang first kill habang si H2O ay nasaniba na ni Exort at GZ now flying out Dahil masyadong nag-overextend this time ang OMG. Great movements, pero hindi sila nakanako ng orange. That is a 2-for-1 trade. A tank for 2 heroes na wala si Hayes, na wala din si Heat.
Yeah, it's still a favorable position for Omega Esports. There are two stories here in the game. Number one is the resource control of NXP. Pinaka-importanting aspect sa kanila dito sa game na to is yung resource nila. They want the farm on the cloud. On the Omega side, you as much as possible, you'd want to take objectives. You have a Ling, you have an Esmeralda, and you have a Kagura. These three heroes wants to control objectives. But the thing is, Omega Esports, they have a +1. Kapag nagre-resource control ng NXP, the 1-1 is also free farming. So the late game factor for Omega Esports is actually bigger compared to NXP.
So meron pala silang ganun na, o sige mag-farm ka dyan, pero yung 1-1 namin, free farm
Yes,
naman. So
pabor.
may part na 50-50 trade ang ginagawa dito ng Omega. Yes, hindi nila nakuha yung orange, pero tingnan mo naman, ang daming turret gold na nakuha dito ni Cartesi. Meanwhile, pasok dito si Hajizi. Welcome back. Pero masustansya dito, and I think this is going to be the punish. Wow! Nice maneuvers para dito kay Hajizi.
Yes.
Onting acrobatics, onting gulat, pero may onting pasok agad ang NXP. Alam nila, ilang beses na nila napanood yun.
Dito mo masasabi na Omega Esports, sila pa rin ang isa sa pinaka-mechanically gifted na team. They know that the only job of these heroes is to poke. Nakita natin kanina si H2O, talagang binalagbag lang ni Hayes at ni Heat. Once nakita nila nakalahati nilang buhay, even if the Angela jumps on the cloud, ang trabaho ni H2O is to clean up. And the story of the game is kapag may nangyayaring teamfight, I call this 60-40, kahit mapatay nila si Ling, NXP is just getting 40% because 1-1 is still farming.
Yes, ito pa rin ang pinaka-main dilemma ng NXP, si Kurt TZ. Fun fact lang pare, fan si Kurt TZ ng 1D. Parehas kami. Yeah, shoutout pala kay Kurt. And yun nga, nagpa-farm lang siya dito. Kailangan ng gumalaw ng NXP.
Yes.
Kaibigang Midnight. Yeah, nawala dito si GZ. Pero again, tama ka no? It's all about the side lanes right now.
Yep.
Probably yung jungle, 40% na problema mo yun eh.
Oo. Again, every move that NXP makes, it has to make sense. It has to be focused on resource control or controlling the map. But Omega Esports, they are the ones dictating the early game pressure, the early game momentum dahil nasa kanila ang objective taking. Remember, you have a late game lineup on the side of NXP. So Omega Esports, they control or they rule the early game. If the team fight leads to both jungle kills, it does favor Omega because they still have a 1-1 on the side lane.
Sobrang tama ka, no, Midnight. Kasi I think pressure ng OMG dito to finish the game early. Meanwhile, depensa muna para sa NXP. And this is risky. Look at that. Exort pumasok ngayon dito. Third easy with the second skill out. Tapos si Exort na maiwan dito. Exort with the flicker. Pasok si HO dito with the blazing duet. This time, Yawi is here. H2 nandito na din. May onting bawi. Habang si Hajizi ay atakin yan si Exort. Hajizi will just go for the flinch ploys out. Meanwhile, Toshi naman ang magpa-farm dito sa gitna as James is also farming the bottom side. It's all about the aggressive movements ngayon ng OMG. Depensang Marino sa NXP. Sinong nananalo sa trade ngayon, Midnight?
I think for that last trade, it was NXP. Even though napatay si Rene J, they still got what they came for. And maganda actually yung response nila. You don't let Omega take anything for free. If napatay si Rene J and napunta yung kill kay 1-1, as much as possible for NXP, you need to find a trade. And they got it. Nakakuha sila ng isang kill. And Hajizi, he went on the backlines. I don't actually agree with the play. Instead of going for H2, he went for Exort, which was not the best of trades. So kaya ako nasabi na NXP yung panalo doon kasi nakakuha ng kill si H2O and Omega Esports, they didn't take any objectives out of that skirmish.
Yeah, but I think ang pinaka pwedeng objective lang na nakuha dito ng Omega ay mid lane.
Yes.
Pero nabawi rin kasi ng NXP sa bottom lane.
Yep.
So,
may trade.
May part na nag-60-40 and yes, H2O nakita natin ngayon yung damage na ginawa dito ng kanyang blazing duet na actually pare Demon Hunter Sword na siya.
Yes.
And we know na talagang delikado yon kapag ikaw ang isang Claude. And this time, they're going for the turtle. Makuha dito ni H2O as OMG will just back off.
Yes, and this is where you start seeing the shift on the momentum here. NXP now has the items and the levels that they need. Remember, sinabi natin kanina, they are the superior team fighters. This is because of the presence of the Angela and the Alice. Omega Esports are now playing the split push game. You have a Ling, you have an Alice, you have an Esmeralda, and you have a 1-1. Yeah. Sila naman yung nagre-resource control ngayon, and NXP are the ones dictating the objectives. This is where you start shifting the power spikes. Si Claude, may teamfight yan. Si Alice, may teamfight yan. Benedetta, may teamfight yan. As much as possible, don't let Omega Esports split push and take the fight into Omega.
So, ibig sabihin dito, Midnight, ang pressure ngayon sa NXP is that wag nilang hayaan na Omega ang magdidikta. Wag nilang hayaan na Omega magsiset ng tempo. Dapat sila na.
Sila na
Kasi
ngayon.
may damage na sila eh.
Yes.
Umabot na sila sa power spike na may damage siya yung Blazing Duet. Halos lahat. Pero ngayon, Midnight, alam na ata ng Omega, gagawa sila ng play dito sa baba. There you go. Haze, napakatagal para mapatumpa dito si James.
Haji?
James surviving!
Oh, wow.
Wow! Instant! Ultimate lang! Kamuntikan pa! Field attempt for OMG! Pero kaya nilang patumbahin tong bottom lane.
Top lane though, top lane. Manjin, ito yung sinasabi natin. There's always a trade. Now, the Basha is stealing the orange buff of Omega Esports. Medyo actually questionable yung nangyari sa baba, no? Haji could have taken out James, but he opted to go for the safer route and went for the tower objectives, which was fine. But then again, NXP, sila naman yung nagdidictate ng pressure ngayon. So Omega didn't really go for the punish on the bottom lane.
Ang hirap din kasi Midnight, I think mayroon din kasing specific na buff pa rin yung Tore.
Oo.
Kasi nakita natin na nag-back agad si
Yep.
Haze. Doon mo makikita dito yung yung mastery ng jungling dito ng OMG. Kung yun yung dating Tore, kung yun yung dating turret,
Dinive na nila dapat
dinive na nila ng todo yon. Pero kasi still, mamamatay na si Haze doon eh. Isang hit na lang siya eh. So yeah, sobrang fortunate noon para kay James dahil nga meron din siyang ultimate. Dahil doon, nagkaroon ng space ang NXP. Midnight pero with a snap, may bawi kagad ng Omega. Tignan mo, dikta kagad sila. Binawi kagad nila yung nawalang top lane nila.
Yes. Methodical approach still for Omega Esports. Every single objective na nakikita nila, basta libre, they will go for it. Curtizy with a Wind of Nature, negating the damage output of the Blazing Duet ni H2O. Medyo ginalawan siya doon. Pogi!
Yeah.
Sikreto ng Pogi.
May onting master movements dito ang si Curtizy, pero mukhang delikado yon. Midnight dahil alam na ni H2 na cooldown na dito yung Wind of Nature.
Yes.
So ngayon, NXP, they can probably take this, but look at this! Curtizy with the plays! Oh no, kailangan mo na ata tumakbo dahil pumasok si Yawi dito. But Kurt, kumikripok! Left, right, left, right! Here we go! Left, right! Nako, si Yawi nila mag-isa at ayun na yung Harlem movements. Kurt, Daisy, kakabangkit ko lang Midnight.
Oh, H2!
H2, pumasok ngayon. Mag-isa si Ajizi. Sabi niya, binate lang kita. Meanwhile, Ajizi.
H2!
H2, Blazing Duet. Ajizi, flinch force. Ajizi will survive. Habang si Curtizy, yung main problem ay nandito na ngayon. Attacking the orange buff right now. Nalito ngayon yung Omega. Good movements for Curtizy, pero wala silang mapupush this time as Rene J will try to go for the split push. Men, gaano ka-importante yung pitas na yon?
Grabe, ito masasabi ko, labanan ng H-God. Could have definitely taken out the Claude on that tower, pero sabi mo nga kanina Manjin, medyo nakakatakot kasi yung mga turrets ngayon. So sabi ni Haji, okay, play safe na lang ako and I will not go for the Claude kill. H2 tried to go for the punish but he didn't have the stack with the movement speed from the Art of Thievery. So hindi niya nahabol si Ling and hindi rin siya naabot ni James. Now, Omega Esports has reset the game. They now have full control of the turtle, but remember, they can still take it on the side of NXP. They have a Baksha that destroys the bush control of Omega Esports, gives vision to them, and remember, team fight superior ang NXP.
Team fight talaga at Midnight, umaabot na tayo sa ultra late game. We're now at 11 minutes of this game. This is the same story nung kalaban nila ang Bren Esports.
Yes.
Ganito tumatagal ang NXP. Yes, lumalamang ang kalaban nila early game, pero nakakasabay kasi sila late game eh. So to the point na napi-50-50 nila, one wrong movement from Omega, NXP can definitely punish them.
Oo, ito ang story nitong team fight ito, who gets the control on the 1-1. Omega Esports, they still have this pressure na pag nag-proc yung ultimate ni 1-1 dito, yung crossbow of tanks, heroes will melt on the side of NXP. So they need to keep in mind of the positioning of the 1-1, but it's really hard to do that against a Kagura and the Pakito na lagi nagbibigay ng vision against NXP.
Ang ganda kasi ng zone no? So pressured ngayon ng NXP. Hanapin dito si Kurt TZ. They need to be mindful of the wind chant.
Yes.
They need to be mindful of the Kagura's ultimate. Kasi Haze is also doing a great job with the box out na ginagawa nila. Tama ka Midnight. Late game capability, yes, nandito yung part ng NXP. Pero dito na ba papasok yung veteran movements? Dito na ba papasok yung macro control? Kasi I think ang tinitignan natin ngayon, since 50-50 na yung mga items, kung sino na ang makakapag-freeze lane, sino na mauna sa mga bush, pagdating dito sa Lord Take na to.
Alam mo, sobrang bilis mag-farm ni Hajizi. Kanina lang pantay sila ng gold ni Claude. Ngayon, there's 1,000 gold lead on this Ling. Di ko alam kung saan niya nakuha yan. Actually, wala naman siya nakuha kills for the past few minutes. But I think it's because of him being able to stop Renegade from split pushing and the map control of Omega Esports na hindi nila hinahayaang makapag-lane si H2O. For the past 2 minutes, si H2O, kapag nagpapakita sa isang lane, biniblazing do it niya, but majority of his time is spent on the jungle.
Jungle talaga, no? Dito papasok yung capability ng Ling to roam around eh. Nagiging ano siya eh, nagiging para siyang ano eh, nagiging part na hero na split pusher na lang siya eh. Ngayon, ang dilemma ngayon dito ng NXT.
Oh, this is a kill.
Pwede na i-bait to ha. Let's see ha. Blow by blow.
Ayaw.
Renny J playing mind games with the GZ. Alam ngayon ng dalawang kupunan na 4 lang sila sa my lord take. Sino ang mauuna dito? NXP ang may retribution. Kurt Easy. Kumikripok palapit. Let's see. Pero sabi guys, teka lang. Alam nilang 4 yung nasa side ng NXP.
Ganda ng bait.
Both of the teams playing mind games with each other midnight.
Sobra.
Tignan natin. James, pasok ngayon. Hayes, nako, tricky situation. Pasok dito si Renny J. Renny J, the bomb!
The punish!
Execute! Oh no, nawala dito si Hayes. Pero mukhang si Yawi ata mawawala dito. Nako, nabitin! Damage! Napagamit dito ng win shot ni Easy. Pero the win shot is real! Mr. Edgelord! Kurt Dizzy! Grabe, malasaske, pare!
Grabe!
Kamuntikan mawala pero isang pindot lang ng win shot. Pero sabi ni Renny J, ako on the bomb, hahabulin kita. Pero may onting creep walk.
Oh my
Habang
God!
GZ nandito na din. KDA machine. There you go. May tusok din ako.
Grabe!
4 na heroes ang nawala sa NXP. And look at that replay. Anong nangyari doon, Midnight?
Eto, masasabi ko lang, technical plays by Omega Esports. It started with the bait on the bottom lane. They went for the Renny J after the Lord reset. And after that, alam na nila, okay guys, lahat ng tao ng NXP pupunta sa Lord. Maniwala kayo sa akin. And that is what happened. H2O thought that it was a free team fight, went for the Blazing Duet, pero hindi nila na-ready yung cooldown ng Winchan.
Wow, that instant replay is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only $13,999. Instant Winchan lang. That was patience.
Yes.
Mula dito kay Kurt Easy, akala natin yun yung perfect Blazing Duet kay H2O. And mind you, H2O is one great Claude player. Alam niya kung kailan ang shoot ng Blazing Duet. Akala natin yun na. Hindi pa pala.
Yep, and Omega Esports, this is where you start seeing the technicalities and the mechanics of these players. Again, Kurt Easy with that Winchan play on the 1-1 and Hajizi being present on the entire map. Parang yung pakiramdam ng NXP, hindi nila alam kung saan sila pupunta.
Yeah.
Kasi every single time na kalahati buhay nila, biglang may bumababa sa kanila, binabagsakan sila ng isang link.
Ang nangyayari dito, Midnight, NXP ang laging nagre-react.
Oo.
At umaasa sila na maka-outplay sila. Let's see, dahil mukhang may laban ata nagaganap dito. Onting poke. The Lord is now down. Buhay pa rin dito yung tower. NXP, na-depensahan pa nila. Nice patience para dito sa side ng NXP. Habang yung OMG kukuha na lang ng iba pang objectives. Ang camera ngayon ay tumitingin kay Kurt.
Yep.
Mr. Edgelord. Tignan natin ngayon.
Oh, James!
Oy, pasok
James!
si James dito. Si Kurt ang main target. Let's see. Wala pa rin pasok si Hayes, pero pasok na naman si James! The fake is real! But Kurt, mabubuhay pa siya! Buhay! Si Kurt Easy dito! Renny J magkabol! Kurt Easy! Pero may execute dito si Renny J. Wala na si Kurt this time. 4-on-4 mangyaring laban. Renny J nandito si Exort. Nakaloob sa kanya. Exort, tatakbo. Nag-zoom out yung camera natin. Renny J now tatakbo na din. Meanwhile, si Nate nandito. Walang damage output ng OMG. Pasok si Hayes dito with the yin yang overturn. H2O mapapag-BMI out. Renny J baiting someone. Look at Hajizi this time. Hajizi, lilipat pa sa bottom lane dito, nag-aabang ng hero. Hajizi.
Inaabangan yung top lane.
Men, ang intense na nangyari, pero sabi ni Hajizi, okay, lipat ang camera, isang sundot, kuha ang tore.
Basic lang, objectives lang, sabi ng Omega Esports. Di namin kayo hahabulin para sa kill. Kasi again, the story of the game is that we are playing objectives. If we can avoid fights on the side of NXP, we still win the map control.
Yeah, this is again because of the flinch boys. The mechanics na meron, ang isang link na kayang mang-split, kayang gawin yung mga ganong klaseng movements. How crucial was that team fight para sa dalawang teams Midnight? James and Renny J, nakita natin yung persistence nila on getting Kurt Easy.
Actually, it could have been better, pero ang ganda rin kasi nung sagot ni Heat. Nung ginamit na ni James yung flicker niya, ang ganda nung gamit ng stacks on the Pakito. Multiple ultimates was targeted onto the Alice, kaya hindi napatay si Kurt Easy. Now, there's gonna be a steal on the purple buff. I don't think NXP could fight this one. Actually, nakuha ata ni H2, and then, hindi nakuha ni H2.
Nakuha ni Hajizi. And eto, dito mo makokomment yung dito mo makokomment ang NXP eh. They really know kung kailan sila magre-rest. They really know kung kailan yung sugal.
Yes.
And sinugal nila yung last team fight na yun eh. Crucial yun kasi again, kamuntikan pa mabuhay si Kurt. Kung nabuhay si Kurt, kung nakapag-ultimate siya, pwedeng naubos pa sila. Pero Renny J, nireserve niya talaga yung execute. 3 ultimates yung nawala doon. The Electro Final Blow, yung ultimate ni Alice, pati yung ultimate ni Angela.
Tumalon din di ba?
Tumalon din para lang mapatay si Curtizy.
Alam mo, ito yung nagpapahirap kasi sa game ng NXP. They try to go for these fights, and even though they keep on winning them, kasi nga sila yung superior team fighters, you still have to ask your problem ask the question as a new Ling. You have a Ling problem, and there is a map control problem. Because of the presence of the Ling, the Pakito, and the Kagura, these three heroes just control the map. Nakikita mo kanina yung laro ni Haze tsaka ni Heat. They just move around, they control the vision, and hindi sila yung aggressive fighters na pag nakakita sila ng opportunity, they go for these fights. Because they realize na, okay guys, kalma lang tayo, NXP mas malakas sa fights, if they wanna go in, let them go in. Kasi pwede natin kontrolin yung gera na kapag patalo tayo, let's just have the Ling split push.
So masasabi ba natin dito, Midnight, na for the win condition of NXP, they really need to force this 5-on-5 Royal Rumble nasa bayan.
Dapat mapatay si Ling. That's the first condition. You need to take down the Ling and the 1-1 at the same time.
At the same
That's
time.
a tall order.
At the same time talaga, no? Ngayon yung OMG, okay lang sa kanila kahit walang isa.
Oo.
Basta't wag sabay,
Yes.
and kaya nila mag-split.
Yep, ito yung dangers na sinasabi natin kanina sa draft. Even though NXP went for the right mindset, again, you have the superior team fighter with the Alice and the Angela last pick, but you are still facing the Ling problem. Again, hindi nila masasagot tong Ling na to because of the nature of their draft. Because if they try to split push with Benedetta, suddenly the 4 heroes that are left will just lose to the Esmeralda.
Oo, lugi talaga. And again, nabanggit natin dito, they don't have any catch para dito kay Hajizi unless ibuhos ni James yung second skill niya doon.
Oo, unless magkamali si Haji.
Oo, at pwede rin or maduo kasi I think enough ng time yung stun ni Yawi ng Baksha at yung stun ng Alice. I think enough time
naman.
na yun eh.
Problem is, kailangan mahuli mo si Ling nang wala siyang ultimate.
Oo, at
Kasi may
ma-burst
free,
nyo.
kasi may free pass si Ling eh. That's the very nature of Ling.
Oo.
It's really hard to take him down kapag walang ultimate. So very conditional pag napapatay mo siya. Actually, bottom lane, may nag-1v1 doon. That's the Ling and the Benedetta. This will always happen. The split push of the Benedetta and Hajizi split pushing for Omega Esports. And paulit-ulit yung mangyayari to, the Lord Reset will always happen because Omega Esports, they're looking to split the map.
Magkakasaikuan na ngayon, Midnight. At dito na papapasok yung draft na sinasabi natin. Yes, may damage output dito ang NXP. But Omega outplaying them in every way possible. Besides the fact na may escape yung Ling, may second skill din si 1-1 dito. Kaya hindi mo rin basta-basta mahuhuli. And the fact na maganda yung zone dito ni Haze, ni Heat, and Detoshi, hirap na hirap ang
Triangle
NXP.
offense man,
Wow.
Triangle offense, hindi makapasok kaya pumasok si Yawi. This is a backshot that can do this, but the problem is the overwhelming damage of the Kagura and the Pakito. Mind you, it's just a Pakito tank. Ayan, ire-reset na naman nila. Always look for a potential outplay.
Mababurn siya dito. Pasok si Angela dito, but James is down.
Very methodical.
Wow! OMG! Targeting the right person at the right place at the right time. And ito yung hindi mo pwedeng underestimate sa team na to. Alam nila pag sinabing focus fire sa isang tao, dun talaga sila.
Oo, Manji, nakita mo 'di ba yung bilis, yung urgency ng decision making ng OMG. Nung nakita nila na wala nang buhay si Yawi, immediately reset the Lord. Nung hindi na nila abot si Yawi, okay, ito na lang si James. Focus, 4 heroes were focusing down on the Alice. Now, Rene J is being chased by 4 heroes while Haji Z is getting his farm. Probably split push the bottom lane and mid lane, but OMG still have the control. Now they have taken the Lord, and this will make life harder for NXP because hindi lang si Ling yung problema mo, dadagdag pa si Lord.
Dadagdag si Lord. Lord is at level 2. Pupunta dito sa top lane. This is a 20-minute game right now, Midnight. We're looking at late game items right now. Kapansin-pansin na meron ding blade armor dito si Heat.
Oo.
Just to negate this Claude.
Yep, sasalin lang talaga nila.
Oo. And ito yung dilemma, Midnight eh. Laging mauuna ang Ling kaysa sa Benedetta pagdating sa split. Tama ba?
Kasi mas mobile si Ling compared to the Benedetta. Even though mas invasive mas evasive pala si Benedetta, Ling is just a global map presence.
At speaking of map presence, eto na, sabi ng OMG, gera na natin. James now falling low. Mabuhay kaya si James this time. Mukhang kaya niya mabuhay with the flowing blood pero nawala na rin si Haze doon sa batang gilid. Napakagandang sagot mula dito sa NXP. Eto na yung sinasabi nating AOE-centric damage output as Haze is down for a minute. Meanwhile, pasok si Kurt dito. Kaya na kayo mapatumba. Na-reset dito si X-Sword. Kurt, siya na lang mag-isa dito pero ako makakawala pa siya. Nako, H2O nandito na din. Toshi, buhay pa rin. Ang daming buhay pa rin sa side ng OMG. Wala na rin si Renny J. And I think this is it. OMG. Omega is back. At makakuha sila ng pinakaunang puntos nila dito sa MPL Season 7.
You know, this is still the skill of a world contender, the mechanical and technical approach of the game.
And look at this.
Wala, relax.
Relax na relax.
Another day at the office!
Methodical and again, fundamentals for the side of Omega. Wow, and that winning moment is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with the Oppo A94. Get yours now for 13,999. Ang ganda ng laban na yon, Midnight, no?
Sobra.
Magkaibang style eh.
Pero alam mo yung feeling ko bukang bibig kasi ng Omega, binasic eh. Alam mo yung approach kasi parang nasa plano lahat. Pag lumaban yung NXP, naglo-lure tayo, reset natin, split push link, kapag may hero na kalahati ng HP, focus doon. So sobrang methodical ng approach ng Omega, and I think it's really hard to break that for a team like NXP kasi they have this crazy approach that they just love to fight. And kung gusto mong mangyari yun, you need to pick the proper heroes for it.
Proper heroes talaga. I think isang factor din dito yung Angela kasi parang bitin yung damage ng Nexplay eh. Yung mga ganong pasok ng side ng Omega, pwede ma-punish yun kung meron kayong enough burst din eh.
Yes.
And I think nabitin talaga yon, win chant lang. And wow, Omega is back. Again, the story, kaya-kaya nilang mag-keep up or mag-stay ahead. Ipasa na natin to sa ating analyst na si Wolf.
Thank you so much, casters. At pag-usapan natin kung paano nga ba nakabalik ang Omega back to their form. My name is Wolf, and I'm gonna be breaking down that game number 1 between Omega versus Nexplay, where Omega won in a very decisive manner. By the way, the following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. At bakit ko nasabi na nagbalik ang Omega? They are really comfortable with this. Masasabi ko na back na ang Omega in action kapag hindi na sila super reactive dun sa ginagawang draft ng kalaban, pati na rin in-game. Tapos, kapag tinignan mo yung kanilang galawan, ang swabe talaga. Just like you said, a well-oiled machine. Yan naman ang sinasabi natin laging sa Omega. May method at laging nakikita natin na fundamental ang kanilang laruan. We can see that Heath on this Pakito, sobrang crucial ng kanyang ginagawa for the team. Not only because of the control, pero yung early game spike na nakuha ng Omega, yung panggulo nila sa mga ginagawa ng NXP, particularly dahil farm-dependent ang NXP. Meron silang Claude, Benedetta, and Alice. So much late game potential from NXP, pero magagawa lang nila yun kapag nakapag-farm sila. Unfortunately, that wasn't available dahil tinulungan ni Heath at ng Kagura ni Hayes na mahirapan ang NXP sa simulan laban. Following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. At nakikita natin na sa laban na yon, we'll see how effective the 1-1 and the Ling is. Kaya ko din gustong sabihin na fundamental uli ang approach ng Omega dahil sa highlights, mapapansin natin na hirap ang NXP when it comes to the overall or the grand scheme of things, kung baga. Kasi nga naman, ano yung way nila para huliin yung Ling bigla? Ang ganda ng pick dito sa Ling because hindi siya ganun ka-problemado sa laban na to. And then of course, you have this 1-1 naman na sinasagot yung back siya. Sa lane ay pwedeng makalamang sa 1-1 kung iisipin. At kung late game ang usapan, kuha ka lang ng Wind of Nature, okay ka na versus the Claude. There will be, in the highlights, a part where makikita natin kung gaano ka-impactful si Mr. Fundamental Heath. Pero most of this time kasi ang talagang highlights ay makikita natin mula kay Hajizi at kay Kurt TZ. We will see the strength of this link kasi ang kailangan niyang hintayin ay mag-ulti yung mga members ng NXP or i-burn yung kanilang mga skills tapos pwede na siyang lumaban. So much damage potential. And James, on this Alice, ang ganda na kanyang performance. However, kulang pa rin. Kasi kailangan talagang mag-farm ng isang Alice. And if you're looking at the damage output of Omega, sabihin na natin may damage over time sila dahil 1-1 to, medyo mabagal mag-deal ng damage. But overall, with Kagura, tapos meron ka pang Link, kung iisipin, burst pa rin yan. Physical and magical combination. And ito na yung pinakamalapit na play. As you can see, look into Heath. Yung kanyang timing ng knock-up with the ultimate, ita-time niya ng sobrang sakto. Pagdating ni H2O, malapit na siya bumalik sana sa BMI niya or at least nung nag-blazing duet siya, obviously with the knock-up, canceled yun. So the sustain the damage will not be there. Perfect timing para ma-burst siya ni Curtizi, pati na rin ni Hajizi. Afterwards, talagang methodical na ang approach ng Omega. Back to business. Back to their official base work, di ba? Ganyan talaga yung Omega. When they're comfortable with their lineup, they know how it works. magpapunish sila ng isang isang Alice na nasa mid lane nagpakita. At alam nila na si Yawi ay low na rin, pati wala ng ultimate. So there's really no one stopping them from killing the members of NXP. After nila mapatay yung Alice, diretso doon sila sa bandang Lord area. At makikita natin na napakaganda na ng control ng side ng Omega doon sa mapa. Again, to sum it all up, all understanding coming out from Omega, comfortable sa kanila, sila sa kanilang balat dahil ito yung mga gusto nilang picks. This game highlights are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart free games for all. By the way, makikita natin ng MVP ng ating laban. So many crucial MVP performances, but overall mukhang ang talagang silent MVP natin is Toshi with a 3-1-3 performance on this Esmeralda. The MVP of the game was brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. Dahil nakita natin yung damage output ni Toshi with 81,000 and yung kanyang objective damage ay 3,000 lang, obviously because this is Esmeralda, pero yung kanyang kill participation 43%. I believe na kung titingnan natin ang mga kanyang ambag doon sa laban na yon, it's more about just making it so na dadating sa late game na nakakapag-farm ang ating lane as well as the 1-1. And very crucial ang early game na pang-pressure ni Toshi. Kaya nga naman nakapag-farm at Omega doon sa kanilang side laners. Better than what NXT did. That was just game number 1. Excited to see more of game number 2. Ibalik na natin sa ating mga casters.
Ang masasabi ko lang ay nagising na nga ang Omega sa last week slump na nangyari sa kanila and nakita natin yung classic movements na sinabi nga ni Wolf, fundamentals from everyone to the point na hindi na natin malaman kung kanino ba mapupunta yung MVP, and the silent MVP was Toshi. Tama ba, Midnight?
Yeah, and syempre, ito yung factor na hindi natin pag-usapan kanina. No? Of course, Ling will split push, 1-1 with just farm, reset the Lord if need be. Pero yung team fighter ng Omega Esports, ito yung kumontrol sa NXP na parang, okay, may mga ginagawa yung kampi ko, ako bahala kay NXP.
Yeah, it was the Esmeralda, even though may back siya doon, isa lang yung death ni Toshi dito. Yeah. Ngayon ang tanong sa NXP, anong adjustment ang kailangan nilang gawin? Again, ako, honestly, nabibitin ako sa damage nila. Nabibitin ako. So ngayon, who will make the smart choices in the draft? Catch it next, brought to us by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Here we go, Midnight. This is game number 2. Again, ako, honestly, nabitin ako sa damage ng NXP. Meron na si H2O, pero I think para sa kanila, kailangan pa nila ng extra kasi tumatagal yung laban eh.
Yeah, kinulang talaga sila pagdating sa damage. If nakita niyo yung score kanina, even H2O was sitting at a 5.2 score rating, which doesn't really amount to much with a Claude. So, ang problema kasi ni Nexplay kanina is that yung main jungle nila was countered by a single item. Actually, 2 cores on their side were countered by a single item. Isang Wind of Nature lang shutdown kagad yung Benedetta tsaka yung Claude. James was doing majority of the damage on their side. Again, the idea is good. You go for the team fights, pero you pick the proper heroes for it, and medyo payat din talaga yung Angela kanina.
Sobrang tama ka, Midnight. Ngayon, ang tanong, pipiliin pa kaya nila yung Angela or pipiliin na sila ng ibang damage output dito? Remember na binaban ngayon ng Omega itong main hero na to, itong Eve na to. We have same bans for Omega just like game number 1. Meanwhile, 1-1 naman ang nawala dito para sa kanila. Magbe-Benedetta kaya ulit ang NXP sa kanilang first pick?
I think so. Nexplay opted to go to for the 1-1 ban instead of Sylvana. So, ino-open nila yung option na yun for Omega Esports. But there's still a lot of tank options for Heath, no? Hindi pa naman nauubusan ng heroes ng Omega. So, I think that's the proper play. It is actually the smart choice for Nexplay here. And the better one is to go still with the Benedetta. Either that or go for Pakito. Comfort hero ni Yawi yan. As in, outside MPL, yung mga tournament leagues natin dyan, Yawi showed his excellence on the hero.
And ngayon, nakita na ng NXP na okay, eto na yung adjustment natin. Wag muna natin ipakita itong ating jungler. Meanwhile, kuha muna tayo ng isang hero na baka pwedeng tank or pwedeng ang side lane.
Flex, no?
And flex, napakagandang flex nito for NXP. Meanwhile, Omega sticking to the same plan. Esmeralda once again.
Your
like
team is picking.
And ano to?
Sylvana.
Sylvana and
I like
Esmeralda. Bakit ka I like it dito, Midnight?
It's a good hero against Paquito. It's a good hero against the possible Benedetta of Nexplay. Even though si Paquito, no, kapag fighter ka, you're one of the few heroes that can actually fight inside the ultimate of Sylvana. But the thing is, if this is a tank Nexplay, if this is a tank Paquito for Nexplay, it limits the roaming potential of the hero. Because the nature of the Sylvana is that it sits inside the bush.
Yeah.
And kung ikaw yung Paquito, nakakairita na hindi ka makapunta sa mga bushes kasi may threat na may baka makasalubong ang Sylvana.
At hindi ka rin makapag-dash in, dash out.
Yes.
Dahil nga, natutulak ka eh.
Oh, tutusa ka. May Imperial Justice ka pa pag tumakbo ka, di ba? Di ka naman makakawala doon.
Definitely Midnight. So ngayon, sabi ng Nexplay, sige, wala kami pakialam kahit ma-hold kami ng Sylvana. Meron kaming Benedetta and ninakaw nila yung Ling na pwedeng possible pick ng Omega dito. Midnight, for me, this is kind of greedy.
Yes.
Para dito sa Nexplay. Bakit nga ba?
You showed the Link too early, and there's still a lot of potential counters that can come out from Omega Esports. I think this is an easy Claude game, to be honest, for Omega Esports. They can play it side lane, pwede ring jungle. Kaya ako nasabing Claude is, kapag tinignan mo yung dalawang heroes na Nexplay dito, no, they don't really invade that well against Sylvana.
Parang malulugi pa sila sa Sylvana actually.
Oo.
Pwede pa silang ma-outplay ng Sylvana dito. So yes, pero I think nang sa Psycho ang Nexplay dito. Sabi nila dito, o sige, kami naman ang magliling. Kahit na for us, medyo greedy nga. Pero we have ourselves a Natalia for the third pick ng Omega. First time ata natin to nakita sa MPL.
Yes. Actually, hindi nga pinapansin yan eh.
Nawala to actually sa meta natin.
Hindi na nga binaban. Actually, I thought that most of the PH teams would ban out Natalia. And now it's on the hands of Omega Esports. There are 3 players that I think highly of when I'm seeing Natalia. Greed is number 1. Haze is number 2.
Oh, so napunta kay Haze.
Next time ko na sabihin yung number 3.
I think this is a signature pick then for the side of Omega. I remember nung season 5 nung umabot tayo ng 60-minute game with Omega against Onyx, ito yung kanilang main pick. The Natalia. And I think, is it great against the Ling?
Oh yes. It's good against Paquito, good against Benedetta, good against the Ling. Because these 3 heroes rely on using their skills. Hindi sila tulad ng Alice na, sige, bahala ka dyan, pag nagpakita ka, ultihan kita. Hindi sila tulad ng Roger na kapag hinampas mo yung Roger, di mo napatay, papatayin ka. Etong 3 heroes na to, kapag hindi mo sila napatay, tatakbuhan ka lang nila, hindi ka papalagan yan.
Kaya naman pala, no? Kasi itong mechanics to eh. Ang Benedetta, Ling, at saka ang Paquito eh. So with the Natalia, madidisrupt yung Nexplay this time.
Nalilimit yung effectiveness, yung effectivity nito 3 heroes na to just because of the presence of Natalia. Add to that, hindi lang yung factor na kapag nawawala yung Natalia, baka hampasin ka niya. It also tells you na pag wala yung Natalia, there are certain moves in the map that you cannot make.
Definitely, dahil kayang-kayang patumbahin ng Natalia ang Benedetta pag tama yung timing. Again, kayang pumalag ng Benedetta pero talagang psykuhan yan.
Yes.
Psycho battle yan kapag may kalaban kang Natalia. So kailangan mag-ingat ng Nexplay dito dahil lagi nila itong iisipin. Moving forward tayo ngayon, Midnight. We have ourselves the Claude ban sa Nexplay na foresee din nila yung possible Claude pick dito. Omega, ang hinihintay natin sa kanila ngayon ay junglers. Open pa ang Yishun Shin?
Yes, open ang Yishun Shin, but I think the more feasible option for Omega Esports is to go for the Roger. Even though it's not one of their signature heroes, Roger is really good in this game because of the presence of the Natalia and the Sylvana. Imagine niyo na lang na kunwari, naka-snowball yung Omega Esports. Ang daming moves na nga na hindi pwede gawin ng Nexplay, and ibibigay mo pa yung resources mo sa Roger na pwedeng mag-invade ng jungle nyo kasi nga hindi kayo pwede basta-basta gumalaw dahil may nagtatagong Sylvana sa bush at may nawawalang Natalia.
At mukhang yun nga ang binan nila dito.
Sayang.
Yun nga ang binan nila dito.
Roger wins games kasi.
Midnight. Kasi I think with the Natalia and the Sylvana na mapapapula, maamoy agad ni Roger. Tapos,
yes, definitely.
Game na agad eh. So yeah, I think that is a good adjustment para dito sa dalawang teams natin with Nexplay banning the Roger. Pero ngayon, Midnight, Harit, napakabilis ng pick dito ng Omega. Alam nila nung binan yung Roger. O sige, yung isa na kagad. Ba't ka napapailing? Ba't ka napapalakpak dito?
Kasi sa Nexplay, kita mo na yung 3 pwede mag-course.
So, the idea is, against this lineup, you need 2 cores on the side of Omega. 1 jungler and possibly 1 marksman or a side lane mage. Now, Alice is out of the option. The remaining options are Yi Sun-shin and the Harith. So, as much as possible, pick the Harith. Kasi pwede pang kunin na Nexplay yan. Kasi pwede pang mag-flex ang Nexplay na gawing Pakito tank and then pick up the Harith for Rene J. So I really like the approach here from Omega Esports. It looks like Dale is still drafting on his team.
Mukhang inaral talaga nila dito ang pwedeng i-draft ng Nexplay.
Oh,
pero
wow.
okay!
Wow!
It's back!
Wow!
Exhort ka dito.
I like this. I love the draft pattern for both teams.
Para dito sa Nexplay, something new na makikita natin dito sa MPL. Pero medyo nostalgic to, Midnight. This is the championship kadita na meron si Exhort.
Oo.
He's been winning local tournaments with this hero na makikita natin ngayon natatapat sa may pagka-hybrid lineup para sa akin ng side ng Omega. It's a 50-50 draft.
Honestly, these picks are perfect for both teams. Again, sinabi natin yung Yi Sun-shin tsaka Harith, yun talaga yung option for Omega. So immediately, pipick mo kagad yun kapag kaya mo. They snatch up the Harith para hindi makaw na Nexplay. And perfect answer for Nexplay. I think the Kadita and the Kai fits the lineup perfectly. And Kadita counters 4 heroes on the side of Omega with the exception of the Yi Sun-shin.
Oh man, binanggit natin kanina yung lack of damage na meron sa Nexplay Midnight. This time, present na yon kapag umabot ng late game with the Kadita. And yes, nag-agree ako, yung Ocean's Oddity, huli kagad yung Harith sa loob ng Zaman Force. Kita mo kagad. Even yung Sylvana, shoot kagad yung Ocean Oddity, tapos mag-rampage in ka.
Exactly. And I love the Akai pick. Just to make sure na kapag nag-Zaman Force si Harith, tulak mo lang palayo.
Akala natin it's all over for the draft ng Nexplay doon. Pero may onting bawi sila, but they're up against a team, Omega, na nasa momentum ngayon. Na meron again na Natalia ni Heat this time ang gagamit, Midnight. Hindi si Hayes.
Actually, I like this approach. Kanina sa draft iniisip ko, whether magme-mage ba yung Sylvana or magtatang. Kasi he needs a lot of sustain. Hindi pwedeng catch lang siya rito sa game na to. They need more damage kasi hindi reliable enough yung Harith and YSS sa early game. So if you're able to get that, then suddenly all 5 heroes on your side are threat against NXP. So medyo naiintindihan ko yung switch nila dito. Na instead of Hayes playing the Natalia, Hayes is now playing the Sylvana kasi magme-mage build si Sylvana this game.
Yeah, mukhang damage ang gustong gawin dito ng Omega. Tsaka na muna tayo mag-tank build. Tsaka na muna tayo mag-sustain.
Oo.
Kailangan muna natin bigyan ng space ang ating mga core heroes para makakuha tayo ng early game aggression. Dahil Midnight, again, nag-agree ako sa'yo, AoE-centric stunts ang meron ang Nexplay.
Yes.
So talagang kapag umabot late game, makagagaya niyan, pwede silang ma-out damage.
Ang aga nung execute ni Heat, and I really love how Hayes is playing the lane against the Kadita as much as possible. Iso-zone mo siya para hindi siya makakuha ng XP. Now he's forced to go back to his base and may mamimiss siyang minion waves dito. So that means unang magle-level 4 si Hayes dito, which will be a big threat. But Heat is now being taken out by the Ling.
At yun ang nagiging dilema kapag meron kang kalaban na isang Natalia. Lalo na't kapag hindi ka agad makakapatay ang Natalia. Yes, may scout kayong makukuha dito, but you don't want to give those kills na meron para sa side ng Nexplay. So may onting kalamangan dito si H2 laban kay Had JZ. We're now looking at the matchup dito sa baba. Midnight, Toshi confident enough para gawin yung mga ganong movements.
Grabe yung mechanics, no? Grabe yung mga micro skills. Talagang, ito yung mga type ng players na talagang hirap galawan sa lane nila. Kasi if you have certain moves, alam mong limited lang yung conditions mo para mahuli mo yung ganitong klaseng player. And knowing Toshi, he is one of the hardest players to take down on his lane. So may hirapan din talaga yung NXP contest ng Esmeralda na to.
Ito yung mga tipong kabisado yung limits nung isang hero. Alam niya kung cooldown. Actually, di na tumitingin sa cooldown.
Oo, alam ng daliri niya.
Kabisado na yan. Meanwhile, the first turtle will go in the hands of Had GZ. At yun na nga yung sinasabi natin. Imperial Justice para dito kay Hayes. Sino mahuli ngayon? That is going to be Exhort na hindi na makakapagpatubig. That is OMG winning that trade pare. Dalawa na wala sa side ng NXP. Renny J mag-abol dito. May heal para kay Curtizy dito. Renny J mapapadash in. Curtizy may Zaman Force pa pa.
May Kruhan.
May Kruhan. Synchro Vision out. As Renny J masyado ata nag-overstay dito. Heat, meron pa siyang execute. Yes, meron.
Dash!
Pero makikita dito si Heat ni Yahweh. Protektado dito si Renny J. Grabe yung laban na to, Midnight.
Ganda ng block, no? Parang labanan ng labanan ng mechanics talaga, no? Pero I love I love the rotation from Omega Esports. They understand that the team fight for NXP now, this game is really, really weak. So kapag nag-group up sila, ang tanging punish lang is makakakuha ng further exchange kills ang NXP. But with the presence of Sylvana and Esmeralda on these fights, they have complete control. At dagdag pa natin dyan yung Mountain Shocker, no? Yung vision na pinoprovide ni Yisenshin. It does help out the Natalia on taking out these informations against NXP.
Definitely, Midnight. Actually, para sa side ng NXP, kahit papano, nakakabawi pa rin dito si H2. Kasi looking at H2, he's having this great link game right now. Makakuha siya ng third plating dito, ang taas nun. Tapos nakakuha pa siya ng 2 libreng kills na walang kahit anong contest. So with this, nako!
Grabe si James, ha?
Oo.
Nagpapakita, meron ding pakito skills.
Pumapalag pa rin, kabisado pa rin kung may shields. Dito, ang Esmeralda.
Oh
Meanwhile,
my
eto
God!
na nga yung sinasabi natin Grab Wave. Zaman Force para dito sa side ng OMG. Mabuhay kaya dito si GZ. Mukhang hindi na as Renny J will go for the dash in. Renny J ang mawawala pa rin ngayon. Dalawa mawawala sa OMG. Magandang trade para sa side ng NXP. Wala pa si James doon. But man, nakita mo yung damage. Exort putting in the rough waves damage. Pero may onting pagbawi pa rin ng OMG. So still, both of the teams overextending. Talagang hindi pumapayag na hindi ma-even yung trade.
Oo, pero pabor yun for NXP again as you've said. Ganda ng pasok ni Extort, no, with the Katita. Now has purchased the Clock of Destiny. So the sustain is there and the damage will be there after 4 minutes. Curtizy, Zaman Force may top lane, may crewhan lang.
Alam mo, Midnight, dito ata papasok yung yung kailangan nilang respetuhin yung Ocean's Oddity.
Oh yes.
Masiset-upan talaga sila ng masiset-upan
Yep.
Again, this is a Harit, easy target. Yung lalong-lalo na yung Sylvana. Kasi Sylvana mismo yung gagawa ng target
Alam mo parang, sige, talunan mo ako. Ganun yung Sylvana dyan
Yeah. So, man, ito AOE damage output ang dami sa NXP. Meron silang Hurricane Dance. Meron silang Tempest of Blades. Nangiging delikado ngayon yung OMG. Bakit? Una, hindi na naging effective yung Natalia play nila. And unti-unti sila napipitas. Look at this. Even though lamang ang OMG sa pera, pero yun lang.
Batuhan, Manjin.
Batuhan pala.
Alam mo, mahina, walang galit.
Oo, men, gusto ko sana sabihin na lumalamang ang NXP Pero kasi nakakuha din yung OMG dito ng mga crucial pick-ups. Kagain yan.
Grabe, ayaw magpapigil ng Omega Esports, Manjin.
Sabi ng Omega dito, kaya nyo kami 5-on-5, idadaan namin sa mga 2-on-2.
mga
Idadaan namin sa mga
1v1.
1-on-1.
Sabi nila dito, alam mo, sige, suntukin mo ako sa kaliwa, suntukin ko yung kanan mo. Tapos may bonus pa na sinampal.
So ngayon Midnight, yes, ang ganda na nagiging game ni H2. Pero yung space yung macro play style nandito sa OMG,
Tulad yan, na-force out yung ultimate. Alam mo, Manjin, ang question ko talaga ever since nag-start tong game na to, saan nakukuha ni Hajizi yung farm? Nung early game, nakakuha ng 2 kills si H2O, level 7 siya, level 6 si Hajizi. After a minute, ngayon, tignan mo yung advantage. Nga, level 9 sila parehas. Pero there was a time na level 8 lang si H2O, level 9 si GZ. Alam mo, parang magtataka ka, may extra minion bang pinafarm si GZ?
Lagi no? Lagi. Well, hindi siya tatawagin KDA machine Kasi kayong KDA, alam ko may onting din doon may onting pera at gold na pwede ka
Uy, ganda ng huli kay Kurt.
Pero sa wakas, nakakuha yung NXP dito na magandang huli. It's all about the pick-offs right now, Midnight. Para sa game na to. Wala pa tayo masyado nakikitang explosive team fight. Pero you're talking about kanina na itong NXP, yes, nakakuha sila ng lamang. Pero bakit nga ba naninegate? Dahil lang ba dito sa Natalia pick na to?
Yes, this is the information given by Omega Esports. Of course, syempre, pag gumawa ng galaw yung NXP, there's a certain valuable information that they already see. Tapos papatungan mo pa kung ano man yung nakikita ni Hit. So, Omega Esports, they can always calculate another play. Kapag gumawa ng movement si NXP, laging may katapat yan. And knowing them, they have this methodical approach. Kapag nakakakuha si NXP ng kill, there's always a trade. Now, nakakuha sila ng kill dito kay Hayes. They're eyeing already at the third, pero napakaganda ng pwesto ng NXP. Ready sila.
Tignan natin kung crucial ba yun Pasok si Exort dito. Ocean's Oddity, Hajizi with the Blood Flood. Zaman Force para dito kay Curtizy. Exort! Mapipilitan siya dito mag-grab waves out. Yung Stone Roamer ay nasa side ng OMG dito kaya di kagad makapasok ng NXP. Ngayon si James ang tinahabol. James, napagamit dito. Wala pa siyang substance. Habang si Toshi magsi-second skill lang. And there you go. Kagaya ng sinabi mo, Midnight. Every time na makapita sa NXP, hindi papayag ang OMG na hindi makatrade. They know kung
Oh
kaya nila
my
pumasok
God,
ngayon. Look at
Curtizi.
this. Curtizi with the Zaman Force in. Sabay kuha ng purple. Nasa purple sila agad midnight.
Grabe.
Hindi nga sila nag-turtle.
Oo, ito yung sinasabi natin sa OMG, no? Again, methodical, objectives first. Sabi nila, guys, pwede tayo mag-turtle. Pero bakit tayo mag-turtle kung pwede natin kunin yung resources ng NXP? And dito may explain kung saan kinukuha ni Hajizi yung farm niya, no? This is the disparity effect. It causes a huge gold lead with you kasi pina-farm mo yung resource ng kalaban.
At dahil doon, Hajizi with the BOD at meron pang instant turtle. Napakayaman ngayon ng side ng OMG. Look at that. 5K para kay Hajizi dito. Tama ka nga, Midnight. Maging ako nagtataka na. Saan niya nakukuha tong farm na to? Yes, H2O, may farm siya dito. Pero kasi 2-0-3 si H2O.
Good lane game eh.
Si Hajizi may death eh.
Yes, eto sa may top lane na si Hit, mapapatay. Actually, nakuha ni Renege yung kill. Haji hindi makaka-rest back. Pero gusto ko lang i-highlight man, Gino, si Curtizi on that turtle contention for both teams.
Yeah.
Ang ganda ng ginawa niya. He forced out the ultimate from Exort. And he used the Zaman Force. Saan ka makakita ng Harit na hindi nagtitipid ng Zaman Force? And kinokondisyon yung sarili na, okay guys, countered tayo ng Kadita. 4 sa heroes natin mahihirapan pag hindi niya ginagamit yung ultimate niya. Puwersahin ko.
Puwersahin mo. Pag nawala ng ultimate,
laban tayo.
Pasok tayo. Kasi
Yes.
again, I think yung Zaman Force, mas mabilis yung magiging cooldown nun laban sa Rough Waves eh.
Yep. Kaya ang ganda nung ang ganda nung ideology behind as to why he commits the Zaman Force. Talagang alam mo kung ano yung pinaforce niya. Ganda nung huli ni Yawi actually. Hajizi caught out here by the Akai. And Ling, 3-0-4 na si H2O.
This is vintage Xiaowi at ito yung hinahanap kanina pa ng NXP, yung mga pa-isa-isang pitas lang. Anong bawi ngayon sa side ng OMG? Nako, may chance dito. Nice knock para kay James dito. Nawala si Curtizi. 3 na lang na sa side ng OMG. Yawi buhay pa din. Hit, hindi niya na magamit yung execute niya. James with a beautiful champ stance uppercut para dito kay Curtizi. Nawala ngayon yung 2 main cores ng OMG. Ito naman, chance ng NXP.
Oh my God, look at this Paquito! Ginawa niya kay Curtizi kanina, and Hayes is feeling the same thing. Ang ganda nung ginagawa ni James. Naka-purify sa Curtizi, mind you. Pwede niyang tanggalin yung knock-up ni Paquito. Pero ang ganda kasi nung spacing. After the first ultimate, uses the second skill to dash in, and hinintay niya yung purify bago niya in-ultimate na ulit. And this is the perfect or flawless execution from James on this Paquito.
Man, James 0-3 siya dito pero he's making the plays
Oh
para sa
my
next play
God.
dito. Unti-unting nagpo-follow up side ng OMG. Hindi lang si James, pati si Yawi. Pinag-usapan natin ito kanina, midnight na marami silang catch. Meanwhile, sabi dito na Curtizi, eto na, babawi na kami. H2O, pasok ngayon. Ultimate Empress of Blades. Mawawala ba si Hajizi dito? Hajizi na wala na din. Toshi, inatake nila yung orange mark dito. Habang si Curtizi, tumatakbo pa rin. Toshi nasa depensa. Final blow para kay Renny J dito. Dash in. And Renny J will go for that kill. Pero 3 ang nawala sa side ng, 4 ang nawala sa side ng OMG. Toshi na lang ang natitira dito. Nandito pa rin si H2. Walang retribution. But midnight, pinag-usapan natin kanina yung mga catch ng NXP at nakikita natin yun ngayon.
Alam mo, Manjin, sobrang commendable ni James this game. Sinabi mo na 0-3-7 si James on this Paquito, but he has been flawless with the execution and initiation for NXP. Following it up with the teammates that he has. Again, Omega Esports dito, they need to force out the ultimate from Exort. Pero sabi ni James dito, naisa nyo na kami kanina. Hindi na mauuna si Exort. Ako na.
Ako na mauuna. Alam mo pare, meron pa silang plan B eh. If ever na hindi tumama kasi dito yung ultimate ni James, ang ginagawa nilang plan B, si Yawi,
si Akai.
Nakakadalawang Hurricane Dance na siya na maganda. And yung Hurricane Dance niya, hindi panghuli ng 2, 3 eh.
Yes, bawal isa lang. Bawal isa lang.
Ay, bawal 2, laging isa.
Bawal 2. Dapat kahit sino actually, kahit sino makita nila, tinatalo ng kagad ni Yawi. And it goes to show na alam din kasi ng NXP na kapag naka--1 sila sa Omega Esports, it does give them the favorable position.
Yeah.
Tulad ito, kapag kulang sa numbers ang Omega Esports, they fight. Oh my goodness!
Pero masyadong malalim doon para kay H2O. Maganda position ngayon ng side ng OMG. Renny J babalik dito. James nandito pa rin. Pero sinong masya-shutdown dito? That is the Kadita. Oh no! Nakay Toshi ang camera. Bakit pa di nyo ako pinag-uusapan? Ako ang Esmeralda at hindi ako napapatay. Hajizi ngayon. Pulado. Pero sabi ni Toshi, eto na. Iwag natin ang tela. Naku, umikot din si Yawi. Sabi niya ako din may paikot-ikot. Pero sabi ni Toshi dito, pindot-pindot lang ng second skill. First skill, second skill lang. Sabi naman dito ni Curtizi, ako din. Ako marami ako pinipindot. Pero sabi ni Toshi, isa lang ang pipindutin ko. Second skill lang. Toshi, ladies and gentlemen, MVP kanina, the silent assassin. for OMG! Inubos yung 4!
Oo, grabe. Sabi ni Toshi, alam nyo, kung kayo live sumasayaw, ako kay Esmeralda ako sasayaw. Sasayawan ko yung 4. Toshi, again, these kinds of players, alam nila yung limit ng heroes. And nakita niya kanina, sabi niya, akay lang pala, tsaka kapakito. Wala kayong gagawin sa akin.
Grabe, tsaka binibit niyo yung Rap Waves, yung
Oo.
Ocean's Oddity, hindi mo kagad
Magamit.
mapapaangat
Oo.
yung Esmeralda kasi mabilis dahil doon sa Frost Moon Shield eh.
Yes. Well, actually, hindi lang second skill yung pinipindot, pati first skill.
Pati first
Pero,
skill.
ang maganda kasi doon is, yun lang yung kailangan niyang gawin.
Yun
Basic lang.
Kaya favorite ka ng Esmeralda eh.
Sayaw-sayaw lang eh, no?
Oo, sayaw-sayaw ka lang eh. Hindi natin napapansin si Toshi.
Hit!
Man, look at this. Toshi, pumasok dito yung kanyang ultimate. Pero look at this,
Look at
humaharap siya sa
Toshi!
4. Humaharap siya sa 4 dito.
Men,
And ganun siya katapang ngayon. Ganun ka-confident si Toshi, pare.
alam mo, Manjin, feeling ko ang comms ng Omega Esports ngayon ganito. Sinasabi lang ni Toshi, pre, walang damage, pre.
Oo nga
Pre,
eh.
walang damage, pre.
Grabe, I mean, etong Esmeralda, ilang beses na na-nerf to. Kung ito yung old school Esmeralda, ilang beses natin nakita na pumuti itong buhay
Oo.
ni Toshi. And laging nasa half health. Kapag nasa half health kasi may threshold na eh.
Yep.
Hindi na madadagdagan. Pero look at this ha, tumabla na yung pera ni Toshi kay Hajizi. Yes, si H2 pinakamayaman ngayon. But I think NXP, what they need to do right now is to target the Esmeralda. Kailangan nila mapitas.
One big problem that they have is, yun na nga eh, ang kailangan nilang gawin is, uy my goodness, na-force out! Yung ultimate ni Ling! And now, the chance to take out the Esmeralda is finally gone. So, Omega Esports, they can actually fight this one out, pero Ren and Jay going outside the base.
Oh no, alam na to ng side ng OMG and NXP, they're falling apart. 44 seconds down si Rene J dito. OMG just showing to us kung bakit sila ang representatives ng Pilipinas sa M2. And here we go. Zaman Force para dito kay Curtizy. Napakagandang naka para kay James dito. Pero look at this, Curtizy dancing with the stars. Dancing the night away.
Yan na si
Curtizy
Toshi.
mawawala ngayon. Toshi nandito na naman. Naku po. Hindi pa rin siya
Exort!
damage dito pare. Exort na magiging main target dito. Napagandang winter Transient para kay Hayes. Pero sabi niya GC, tapusin na natin ang gera. It's time to
Oh
end it.
my goodness!
2-0 Omega defeating NXP and staying on top.
Wow, Manjin, I thought this series would have been really favorable for NXP because of their past showing, but Omega Esports still showed us na world contenders kami.
World contenders kami. Ano ba naman kayo?
Relax lang.
And then I think, sabi ng yung game na yon, that was a free game for the Esmeralda. And
Oo.
then, sobrang chill ng side ng Omega doon. Kaya yung ating winning moment na yon is brought to us by Head and Shoulders. Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward #itchagg moments. Thanks to Head and Shoulders, 100% dandruff free and itch free. Now, mas mabango pa. Midnight free Esmeralda game once again for OMG.
Alam mo, ang story kasi nitong series na to, if Omega Esports have their technicalities and mechanics intact, they'll always win out even against the top teams. And yung nangyari kasi kanina, even though may lapses last week, no, nasabi ko kanina to, parang si Dale pa rin yung nagda-draft sa Omega Esports. So they found what they were lacking last week. Nandyan na yung draft, solid na yung laro. It all just boils down to in-game execution. Pero alam natin, Omega Esports, they have that already.
And parang naglaro lang tayo ng papel, gunting at bato kung saan nag-turn around. Napaka-intense ang MPL na to. Di natin malaman kung sino ba pinakamalakas. But it's Omega on top. Pasa na natin sa ating analyst na si Wolf.
Thanks so much, casters. What a wonderful comeback para sa Omega. Hindi naman sa mismong game, but here dito sa ating liga. My name is Wolf, your analyst, and let's talk about that series, that 2-0 victory mula sa Omega. The following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Mga kaibigan, ang masasabi kong naging approach ng NXP ay primal pa. Or what does it mean na primal pa yung approach ng NXP? Well, napakasimple lang eh. Parang yung NXP, ang kanilang inisip ay manalo sa mga clash. That's what I felt in that particular draft dun sa game number 2. Kasi parang ang ginawa ng Omega, kina-counter nila or sinasagot nila bawat matchup na pinapakita sa kanila ng NXP. For example, Pakito first mula sa NXP. Anong sagot ng Omega? It's going to be Sylvana and Esmeralda. Dalawang hero na hindi namomblema sa Pakito. At actually, sila pa yung nakaka-counter sa Pakito if you think about it. Now, yung NXP, nagling bigla. Ang naging sagot nga lang ng Omega, okay, pigilan natin yung pagka-farm ng lane, guluhin natin sa jungle using this Natalia. And nakakagulat ng NXP ay hinaya ng Natalia up to this point. Even when it's not the strongest hero anymore, ganun pa rin yung nagiging impact niya. Now, the Harith and the Yisun Shin made a lot of sense kasi yung Omega, hindi na sila nag-focus dun sa pag-farm dun sa jungle. Although GC had a wonderful game, kahit nahirapan siya, yung fact na ang kanilang pinofocus dito is the Harith, yun yung hindi nasagot ng NXP. Although I want to say, NXP, ang ganda nung Kadita and Akai pick. It all made sense in the end. Kadita would have been great. However, kinulang nga sila dun sa late game kasi nag-focus sila masyado dun sa team fight, pero nung napil na sila ng side ng Omega, dun na sila nayari. The following post-game statistics are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Makikita natin dun sa mismong draft na parang hindi naman siya kinokontra talaga pero sinasagot ng Omega bawat i-present ng NXP one after another, pero yung NXP more on sa clash. Makikita natin sa highlights kung gaano nga lang nahirapan ang side ng NXP sa pag-execute nung kanilang team fight-based draft dahil sa macro, sa mas magandang macro and micro understanding ng Omega. These game highlights are brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Makikita natin na kung usapang objectives ay lalamang ang Omega dahil sineset up muna nila yung sarili nila sa mas magandang chance na makakuha ng turtles and turrets. Makikita natin yung punishment ng Omega din ay mas maganda. I wanna say though, makikita natin yung NXP eventually na mas lumamang sa mga team fights, lalo na pag na-combo nila yung Akai, yung Kadita, yung pagpitas din nila, maganda rin kasi biglang mamumulis na lang or mag-clean up ko na lang si Ling eventually. But when it comes to matchups like this one, parang doon nalulugi yung NXP. One after another. Kunwari yung Benedetta versus the Harith, Harith will win it in the lane, tapos biglang mananalo eventually pag napinat. Pero pag na-chain stun naman at na-punish ng NXP, doon sila mas malakas. However, ang gagawin ng Omega, hintayin lang nilang magkamali yung NXP just like in the previous game. Kasi kung isipin, merong mga matchup victories ang Omega. When it comes to just like yung Yisun Shin, kapag naipit siya, obviously, doon sila malulugi. Pero kung magkakahiwala yung mga members ng NXP, pwede pang manalo yung Omega sa mga team fights. What I want to say, team fights like what we're seeing right now, it will favor NXP no matter what dahil napaka-simple lang ng rule. Kaya nga primal yung sabi ko sa draft ng NXP. More stuns, more CC, more chances of winning the game. At yun yung basically idea dito ng NXP. At kung iisipin natin na maigi, make sense naman yun. However, kapag hindi mo na na-chain yung mga stunts mo, like in this one, kung saan napitas na si Ling, tapos si Yawi had a 1,000-pounder away, tapos naipit si Kadita dun sa gitna ng laban, dun talaga malaki ang pagkalugi ng NXP. Pag hindi nila nagagamit yung chain stunts or AoE damage nila ng sabay-sabay, or basically, napaka-simpleng terms, pag hindi sila tumim-fight laban sa Omega, dun sila nalulugi. Kasi kung matchup lang ang usapan, lalamang talaga ang Omega dyan. Another MVP performance, a silent assassin ang tawag ng mga casters natin dito kay Toshi. Silent MVP ang tawag ko rin sa kanya with a 6-1-4 performance. The MVP of the game was brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Break through your own limits, rise above, and be free to game great with free games for all. 42,000 damage dealt again. Wala kay Toshi, but more than anything else, siya na naman yung space creator for it. Ang talagang MVP na performance na masasabi ko nga lang mula kay Toshi, kaya siguro siya yung napili dito, ay yung fact na hindi siya namamatay. Hindi ganun kadali ang Esmeralda sa laban na to. In fact, this is a second pick Esmeralda, which means na may chance ang NXT na makontra siya. And medyo sinasagot nila yan. Pero si Toshi played safe, played smartly, at katulad nga na sinasabi natin sa Omega, fundamental ang kanilang approach. That has been my take on this particular series. Ang analysis ko sa game number 2, ibabalik na natin sa ating mga casters.
Maraming salamat sa napakagandang analysis, Wolf. And yes, tama siya, kaibigang Midnight. Itong MPL na to ay talagang hindi na natin masabi. Napakainit. Final thoughts on this one?
Alam mo, tama yung sinabi ni Wolf kanina, no? Medyo primal din kasi yung draft ng NXP. And knowing them, it's their comfort zone. Medyo primal din talaga yung approach ng NXP. But don't get me wrong, they both had good drafts, no? Both of the teams had perfect drafts on game number 1, game number 2. Actually, di naman perfect. Pero considering the situation, they drafted accordingly. But when you match two teams that have good drafts, good mechanics, pero there's a team that is lamang, no? Medyo konyo. Lamang sa methodical approach. The methodical system would always win out.
Yeah, I think heavily relying pa rin talaga dito ang NXP pagdating sa kanilang mechanical prowess. Pero again, ito yung veteran movements na sinasabi natin.
Yes.
Hindi lang basta-basta makaka-outplay ka eh. Kaya mo pa rin talagang pumalag. And Midnight, looking at the situation, ikaw, seeing all of the teams, anong say mo?
Feeling ko Omega does still belong on top 4.
Definitely. And of course, MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Parehas 2-0 ang ating nakita para sa ikalawang linggo, day 1 ng MPL Philippines. Again, dito lang nagpapatunay na itong mga teams na to ay pare-parehas at tabla-tabla. Midnight, hindi ko na masabi ngayon kung sino ba pinakamalakas.
Ako din, hindi na. Huwag na tayo mag-predict, huwag na tayo gumawa ng power rankings. Kasi lahat yan, tapon.
Talagang nasa era na tayo ng ML na lahat na ay kaya maging champion. Bumawi actually ang Omega laban sa slump na meron sila last week. And anong storyline ngayon sa NXT? Maingay na naman kaya ang social media?
Feeling ko, maingay pa rin, pero mas lalo sila magingay kasi kaya na nilang pumalag.
Pumapalag na nga talaga lahat dito sa MPL. Ako po si Manjin Faldas. Kasama ko din si Midnight. Atin na pong ibato ngayon sa ating mga panelist.
You're still watching MPL Philippines Season 7, presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Nakasali na ba kayo sa ating mythical raffle draw? Mythical din ba ang inyong knowledge pagdating sa MPL at sa Mobile Legends? Bang bang! Kung kayo ay sa tingin nyo magaling na magaling, sumali na kayo sa ating quiz. I-scan lamang ang QR code na nakikita nyo sa inyong mga screens para manalo ng mga papremyo mula sa Mobile Legends. Susubukan nyo ang inyong galing pagdating sa pagsagot ng aming mga katanungan. Last time, meron tayong over 87,000 na sumali at 10 doon nanalo ng mga in-game prizes. Hindi lang yan. Meron din tayong lucky number draw para sa mga masuswerte. Kung ang ending ng last 2 digits nyo ay 07 or 22 or 32 or 54, 59, 77, 87, 88 or 95, the first 3,000 mananalo ng Elite Skin, Epic Skin, Diamonds. Saktong-sakto yan, lalo na end of the month na. Syempre, gusto nyo i-renew yung mga Starlight nyo, kaya sumali na kayo, iscan lamang ang QR code para manalo ng mga papremyo. Ito, ang labanan ngayon, sobrang mainit. Nanalo ang Blacklist at ang Omega na 2-0 nila ang kanilang mga kalaban. Blacklist International, nakascore tayo today ng 3 puntos na nagawa nila. Pati na rin ang Omega Esports dahil natalo nila na 2-0 din nila ang Nexplay Esports.
I'm super proud of Omega Esports' recovery. And I don't know, this brings up a question for Nexplay. Binigla lang ba talaga nila yung Bren last weekend?
Yeah. And what I felt watching Nexplay here was that parang nawala yung urgency nila na meron sila last week. Maybe it's because, of course, alam natin yung rivalry ng Nexplay at Bren Esports. But now against Omega, they played a little bit more, hindi naman sa relax, but kulang yung apoy doon. And mas nakita yung apoy na hinatam natin sa Omega, which of course, they really wanted to get those 3 points para masabi na, guys, okay pa kami. We're ready for this and we still deserve to be here. So, well-deserved 3 points for Omega.
may mga koponan na nag-step up. Kaya dapat talaga tingnan natin, ito ang current standings ng Group A at Group B. For Group A, naunguna ngayon ang Aura, susunod siya ng Onyx, Work, Brand, at hindi pa natin nakikita maglaro ang Signal. Para naman sa Group B, nanalo ang Blacklist today. So sila ngayon ang nangunguna sa ating current team standings with 5 points. Susunod dyan ang NXP with 4 points, Exe, Omega, at LPE. Kaya dapat subaybayan natin every game day dahil nagbabago talaga ang kapalaran ng mga koponan. Everyone is showing something different every game day. May mga surprise ba tayong mga nakita ngayong araw na to?
Already, kakatapos pa lang ng day 1 ng week 2 dito sa MPL. And I can say, right, before the season started, ang sinasabi natin, uy, Group A, yan yung group of death. Pero tingnan natin ngayon, ang lalakas na nasa Group B.
Yeah.
Nakatakot sobra ang Blacklist International, lalo na 2-0 nila ang Execration na ang dami nagsasabi sa social media. Alam nyo na yung joke, di ba? Alam nyo na yung joke na parang hindi yata natulog si KLVJ sa tamang kama.
Yeah, other than that, it's another surprising weekend para sa MPL. Kung week 1 natin full of surprises, this week rin full of surprises. Well, of course, for this first day, so excited pa ako mas makita to be surprised pa sa day 2 and day 3 natin for this week.
Maraming the moves ang naganap ngayong Biyernes. Kaya silipin na natin ang ating top 5 plays of the day.
This first moment here is a moment wherein nakita natin na parang, uy, ang ganda ng ginagawa ng Omega pero mas maganda pa rin yung highlight plays ng NXP.
Yeah, and now for this play here, I believe this was a turnaround for NXP na Omega medyo nag-overstretch sila, so then they were able to make the most out of that. But then no, Curtizi showing up, able to turn it around as well.
To be fair, NXP makes great highlights. This one is from our first series wherein Kelra came in very, very well, but I guess it just wasn't enough. Parang nanalo pa rin dito ang Blacklist despite this triple kill on that Alice.
Yeah, and now for the second play, and you're seeing here the aggression, the feeling. And James barely able to get away, the stun, and of course, throwing blood out, highlight, well-deserved.
And last but not least, this is from the first series. Ang lalim dito ni Edward. Dito niya yata nakuha yung MVP niya nung game na ito para dun sa series. Kahit gustong habulin dito ng Exe, kulang pa rin.
Bukas, Sabado, ito ang ating masasaksihan, Aura. Kalaban nila ang ating defending champs na wala pang panalo, Blacklist Esports. Susunod dyan sa 6 p.m. Blacklist International may 2 panalo na. Kakalabanin nila ang LPE na may 1 panalo. So tomorrow will be interesting, kaya dapat tumutok lang kayo 4:00 ang umpisa ng ating labanan. How interesting is tomorrow's matchup?
Super exciting. The second series especially, Blacklist and LPE parehong undefeated.
And meanwhile, for Blacklist Esports, this is a must-win para sa kanila if they want to find any glimpse or any hold of momentum for this season. Pero mahirap. It's Aura, the flexibility is there. They've been practicing and they've been competing far longer. Tanong ko for Blacklist Esports, were you guys able to practice enough this season? Kasi Aura ang kalaban nyo, and Aura are a scary team. Top of the group, sa Group A.
Ang sa akin is si Omega, nakabawi na eh, di ba? Pinaghiganti nila yung Bessie nila. Ngayon yung Bessie, si Bren, may bawi na ba?
So dito nagtatapos ang ating coverage for today. Tapos na ang rambulan sa ating 4th day ng coverage. Pero bukas, 5th day, samahan niyo ulit kami 4:00. Pero syempre, may mga usapan din tayo 3:30 para sa ating pre-show. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. On behalf of Leo, Reptar, ang ating mga anchors and analysts, at syempre, ang mga dedicated production team. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat sa pagtutok sa ika-4 ng araw ng ating MPL Philippines Season 7. MPL Philippines Season 7 is presented by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart, free games for all. Ingat po kayong lahat. Once again, ako po si Mara Aquino. Keep it good vibes. Kita-kits bukas.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life. Simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.
Boy, you're keeping it real. I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Moment na sana, pero hassle ang kate. Yung kati na yan, dahil sa dandruff yan. You need Head and Shoulders. Unlike beauty shampoos, tanggal ang dandruff that causes kate. No more hassle sa moment. Goodbye na sa kate dahil 100% dandruff-free ka.
Sikreto ng mga gwapong Master Gamer? Para fresh all day, bring your clay game with Master. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Fights germs, controls oil up to 12 hours, and helps prevent pimples. New Master All-in-One Clay Wash. Sikreto ng mga gwapo.
Hi everyone! This is Catherine Bernardo.
At ako naman po si Daniel Padilla. Guys, may PayMaya na ba kayo?
Kung wala pa, dapat mag-download na kayo sa Google Play or App Store dahil ito na ang usong pangbayad ngayon.
Ang PayMaya is isang mobile payment app using only your cell phone and you can pay practically anything, kahit online transactions pa yan.
With PayMaya, hindi mo na kailangan magdala ng cash for your day-to-day expenses. Pwede kang magbayad ng bills, bumili ng prepaid load, mag-online shopping, mag-send money, magbayad gamit ng QR code at marami pang iba.
Pero ang the best part dito ay may balik-bayad ka pa.
Each time you use PayMaya, may balik sa'yo na cashback at rewards, kaya sulit ang oras mo dahil hindi mo na kailangan pumila and you can just pay using your app anytime, anywhere.
Kaya guys, huwag kakalimutan, pag may babayaran ka, don't pay cash, pay Maya.
Express your online business. Express your online business.
When you look inside a JanSport backpack, you see a story that started in 1967. And since then, our mission has expanded to helping protect our environment for future generations to enjoy. It's a work in progress, but just this season we've used the equivalent of 13 million bottles worth of recycled polyester in our most popular backpacks. When you look inside a JanSport pack, you see our commitment to this brilliant blue planet we call home. And we're just getting started.
Ready, go!
Demons shall bathe in their blood.
Healing prayers for you. I am the moonlight that breaks through the darkness.
I am Karamet.
Welcome back, Anna.
Immortality! The strongest ninja.
The universe is but a lie.
Your fate is in my hands.
urgent. What do you do when what you desire is beyond reach?
You use power that breaks barriers. The Giga Life.
Now in 5G.
Do you believe this is possible?
I do.
How do you know?
Simple, smart, acro.
Inevitable. Hey guys, I'm here with Kate and Bea.
But